VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Icon Park. It is round 11 in the hard jacket. Totally Workwear VFL, the Northern Blues, will be taking on Footscray this afternoon. Two clubs that, they're AFL aligned sides. Once upon a time, they shared this as a home ground. If we're going back maybe 20 years or so, my co-commentator wasn't even born yet. My name's Adam Sarikoglu, and I welcome Michael Pepicelli. Michael, welcome. Bit grey overhead, but as we'd expect, very good conditions out here at Icon Park. Looking forward to this one.
Thanks, Adam. It certainly is an interesting weather day, to put it lightly, but there are a few breaks of blue skies trying to break out in amongst the clouds, so hopefully we stay rain-free this afternoon, and which will allow these sides to showcase the best they've got. Both sides in the top 8, Adam, so expecting a good contest. Just 2 points, premiership points, separate them on the ladder. Footscray sitting in 5th and the Northern Blues sitting in 7th, so expecting a high-quality contest today. The Blues haven't really beaten any teams in the top 8 yet this season, so they'll be looking to make a statement today.
Our man boundary side this afternoon is Glenn Hill. We've missed him from the coverage for a couple of weeks, but he's back with us. Hello, Hilly.
G'day, boys. How are we?
How are you? We've not seen you for a while, and good to have you back.
Yeah, it's certainly good to be back, and looking forward to this contest today. I think it will be a cracker. The Blues are certainly an improving team, and as are the Dogs. They've had a good start to the season.
As I said, it is at round 11. We're at that halfway point of the season. One other game is already taking place around the grounds. Home Park, it's a home game away from home for the Tigers in Richmond. 11-8-74. They are leading Coburg 3-3-21. One other game taking place today. That is at Windy Hill between Essendon and Box Hill after the Bombers got a big win over the AFL Hawks last night. And tomorrow we have Frankston taking on North Melbourne at Skybus Stadium. We have the TV game between Port Melbourne and Williamstown, and one of the great rivalries of the hard jacket, Totally Workwear VFL and Sandringham hosting Werribee at Trevor Barker Beach Oval. That's what's happening this weekend. Buys for Casey, Collingwood and Geelong. This one will be kicking off in about 11 or so minutes from now, the early start of 1 p.m. today here at Icon Park. As you mentioned, Michael, two sides that currently find themselves in the top 8. Both have 5 wins for the year. Of course, a draw for Footscray that occurred in the TV game against Box Hill maybe a month or so ago now. Blues going okay at 5-3 as well. It's been a while since we've seen the Blues really up and about in the VFL. I think they were still wearing the red jumpers. I remember going to a grand final, I think it was 2012, and they got beaten by the dynastic North Ballarat Roosters at the time. Good AFL list out there today. 17 AFL listed players. Cam Polson, the only named AFL player that won't be taking his spot on the field today. So 17 AFL listed players for the Blues, only 13 for the Dogs.
Yeah, that's right, Adam. And perhaps the biggest story out there on the ground today isn't one of those AFL-listed players. It's actually Alex Johnson playing his second game now after that 6th knee reconstruction. We all know the story by now. A heartbreaking one, really, but has signed on with the Northern Blues as a development coordinator this season, also including a playing role. Able to get back last week in that Battle of Bell Street over at Preston City Oval. Got through the game unscathed, had 13 touches and 7 marks. He's been in the press during the week saying he worked into the game and felt more confident in his body. I think all we want today, Adam, is just to see him get through and be able to enjoy his footy once again.
It's great to have him out there. If you are watching us on VFL.com.au, he's in the number 51 at Guernsey for the Navy Blues today. Hilly, a conditions report if we have got you at the moment. The ground is looking splendid. The umpires are making their way out. What are we looking at today, Hilly? As I said, a little dark overhead. I might bring up the radar while you give us the conditions, and I'll see if there's any rain coming our way.
Look, so far so good. So far so good is the result at the moment. There's no rain imminent at the moment, but we've got perfect conditions. There's really no breeze to speak of. If there's a light breeze, it may favour the left of screen, but realistically there's not much in that at all. Yeah. The ground condition is in fantastic condition. I've just walked across the middle of the surface, and you cannot knock the ground condition. It's in fantastic order. the groundsmen have done a great job here at Icon Park.
Thank you, Healy. Nothing on the radar as well, so it's a perfect day for football, albeit just a little bit gloomy overhead. What are we to expect today, gentlemen? The Northern Blues, as I said, are 5-3 and going okay at the moment. A healthy contingent of AFL listed players in their lineup today. Footscray are not going too well at AFL level with Western Bulldogs, of course, but doing okay, as they always do here in a hard jacket, totally workwear VFL. On paper, at least, seems like we've got an even matchup.
Yeah, it certainly does. I think what Josh Fraser will be looking for from his Northern Blues this afternoon will be to be a little bit more competitive against a side that really probably is pushing for that top 4. We know Footscray had a bye last week, so they do have a game in hand on a few of those teams in the top 4, currently sitting in 5th. They are 0-3 against teams in the top 8 this year, the Blues, but 5-0 against teams outside the top 8. So I think that will be what Josh Fraser is looking for the most part. Looking at the Footscray side of things, they'll just want to keep on rolling. They've been in reasonably good form so far this season. Northern Blues, a team they would be looking to beat. They are they don't give up many points. So they conceded the second fewest points in the hard yakka totally workwear VFL this season. So expect a low-scoring contest.
Players warming up as we speak. Our umpires today, Andrew Talbot, Robert Young and Luke Porter. And we are about 7 minutes or so away from the first bounce. Let's have a look at what is going on around the ground today. I might get some tips from you two gentlemen as well as we speak. Richmond look like they're on their way to a big win over Coburg, 12-10-82 to 3-3-21. But coming up a little later on this afternoon at Windy Hill, it is Essendon taking on Box Hill. The Bombers just started in an absolute blaze of glory to start the season. Have come back to the pack a little bit since. We know Box Hill is a formidable outfit. Of course, they are the reigning premier. Hilly?
Tip in that game, I would say Box Hill actually. I think they're just going along okay at the moment, as are the Bombers. Like you said, they started like a house on fire, but have come back to the pack, and I actually like Box Hill today.
Yeah, the Hawks are an interesting one at the moment. They are sitting outside the top 8. Of course, had that draw with Footscray earlier in the season, but they're not your average 9th place team. Expect them to take it right up to the Bombers today and perhaps even sneak a victory on the road.
Then we go to tomorrow's games. At 2 o'clock it is the Dolphins. We'll see the Dolphins next week here on VFL Live against Geelong, but tomorrow they take on North Melbourne at Skybus Stadium.
North Melbourne for me in that one, but not highly confident.
They'll view that one as winnable, the Dolphins, playing at home against a team that has had its struggles throughout the season, obviously capable of a lot more, as we saw a couple of weeks ago, Adam. But last week, the Kangaroos weren't very impressive going down to the Seagulls, so Frankston will certainly like its chances in that one.
Of course, Seagulls probably do have the best home ground advantage in the hard jacket, totally workwear VFL. 2:10 start for Sandringham and Werribee. I hope there's a clash jumper in there somewhere.
Werribee for me, I think they've just been ticking along really nicely, and the Saints at the AFL level have had a lot of ins and outs, so I think Sandringham might be a little light on for numbers tomorrow.
Expect a very windy Trevor Barker Beach Oval tomorrow. It'll be blowing a gale, and I think the Zebras might just be able to use that home ground knowledge to their advantage and maybe sneak a win against a very impressive Werribee outfit.
A ground you two know very, very well, of course. We are going to be at Trevor Barker Beach Oval in round 13. So 2 weeks from today, Sandringham taking on Richmond. I believe we did the exact same matchup at Trevor Barker Beach Oval last year. Looking forward to Zebras v Tigers in 2 weeks from now. The three of us will all be on that coverage. And then the TV game, you can watch it on Channel 7, of course, from at 2 o'clock with Nudge and Jason Bennett and Campbell Brown as well. Port Melbourne taking on at Williamstown.
And that will be an absolute cracker. Two huge rivals, and Port Melbourne for me, they're motoring along beautifully, and I think actually are the form team of the competition.
One of the great rivalries in the VFL, as you mentioned before, Adam. The Seagulls were really impressive last week, and we know this one won't be a Downer Oval, but just over the other side of the bay. It'll be very close. give the advantage to the Borough, but expecting an absolute ripper.
A couple of players to watch for today's game, and a couple of options up forward for the Northern Blues that are playing good footy at the moment. Paddy Kerr has kicked 18 goals for the season. Jesse Palmer from the VFL list has 10 as well. They've got some players in good form at the moment, the Northern Blues. Darcy Lang is playing okay as well as a goal-kicking type midfielder.
Yeah, that's right. And Jack Silvani comes back into the lineup this afternoon. Hasn't played VFL since round 2, I believe. He's been holding his spot in the AFL, but with Mark Murphy coming back tonight, he was the one to make way. So he'll be really looking to stamp his authority on the contest and perhaps try and find himself back in that AFL lineup as soon as possible. So expect him to feature prominently also.
Healy just had the coin toss.
And the Blues have won the toss and they'll kick to the left of screen.
Matthew Kennedy conducting the coin toss. Of course, Tom Wilson still not out there at the moment for the Northern Blues. One of the great captains, one of the great men of the VFL, not playing for his beloved Blues at the moment. From a Footscray point of view, Josh Shackey is one that we're going to really keep a good eye on today. I reckon Rourke Smith's playing some good footy as well as we speak. And one of our favourites here on VFL Live is Ruben William, who's had some time down back this year. A couple to look out for the Dogs as well.
Yeah, that's right, Adam. Shackey in particular, he suffered delayed concussion symptoms in their last contest a couple of weeks ago, had to pass all the tests to be able to make it out there this afternoon. So a couple of scary moments for him, but he's been medically cleared and all good to go. So he'll be looking to hit the scoreboard. And as you mentioned, also one of their players who is an absolute star, Will Hayes. Excellent player at Footscray for a couple of years, found his way onto the AFL list this year, and he just keeps on keeping on. One of the very good players in this competition.
One of the good stories, that one, of course, as the two teams now make their way out into position. It's the Northern Blues taking on Footscray.
Tips in this one?
I'll lean towards Footscray, Hilly.
I'm going to say the Blues today. I really like how they've been ticking over, and I think with the solid 17-player AFL listed player lineup today, I think they might have a little advantage at home and cause the upset. Really
could go either way. I'm kind of liking the Blues as well, Hilly. It's a very good lineup they have out there today. It all starts in the middle there with the ruck. Andrew Phillips is out there, but Matty Lobe starting in the ruck. Their big man department is very impressive.
Probably be their best lineup that they've had for the entire season, so I think they'll be ultra competitive.
They certainly will be this afternoon. Getting ready to go here at Icon Park. Round 11 action. Hard Yakka, Totally Workwear, VFL Live. And it was Lobe winning the first hit out, and Kennedy getting involved as always. Coming off another 30 disposal game last week. Just keeps on keeping on, does Matt Kennedy, but it's going to be a free kick to Anthony Scott for the Dogs. He goes immediately, sends it towards half forward. Couldn't find the lead of Gleeson. William gathers. He's playing forward this afternoon, usually in the back line, and that's a beautiful pass looking for Shackey, one of the men we spoke about pre-game.
He's the danger man, isn't he, Michael? Really, really prominent at this level.
So, didn't have a touch, didn't have a mark a couple of weeks ago in that game against Geelong. That heartbreaking 1-point loss did Josh Shackey to get off to the dream start. Left foot banana on its way, missing to the near side. Footscray gets the first score of the afternoon. They lead it by a point.
Quick kick in here taken by the Blues. Mark taken by Alex Johnson. And he'll go over the top for Blakey. Having a good year from the VFL list. Down the line for Silvani. It's Jack. Both Silvani's out there today. He goes to the standing captain in Matt Kennedy. That's not a great ball, and getting in the way is Carvis. That was a nothing kick. Now Scott, also having a good year. Normally plays on this near wing side of the ground. He goes looking for Riley West. It's going to bounce away from him. Some poor kicking to start this one for both sides. Just one behind on board.
Just some ugly skill errors at the moment as the nerves just look to settle down here in the first few minutes.
So it's going to be a boundary throw in about 65 metres out from the Footscray goal. Lobe got to it first and punched it out of bounds on the full. Usually a free kick, and it will be. Riley West, the man to take it for Footscray. Of course, father-son pick last year. They're really excited about what he can do Riley West, pick 26 he was in last year's AFL draft. Eventually called to move it, just pops it up to a reasonable spot, had a couple of men running at it, no one able to take it. Porter's in there for the Dogs and Goddard also for the Blues, and eventually we have a stalemate. So one behind Footscray. Northern Blues yet to score. As the ball's thrown up, Shaki handling the ruck duties, tried to get a quick kick away, but that was smothered. Plenty of numbers around this ball. The Blues defending grimly at the moment, and we'll get another stoppage. Approaching 3 minutes gone, opening term. Footscray, the only side to have had it really inside their forward half of the ground over that first 3 minutes. No clearance for the Blues. Eventually, it's scrambled out. Still inside defensive 50. This could be dangerous for them. Picked up now by Hayes. One way, then the other. Sends a high ball inside 50. Lobe well placed. And he takes the defensive mark.
It was a secondary whistle. Doesn't amount to anything, and Lobe's in two minds here. We might go big man to big man. He wants Phillips. The kick might go a little longer than that. It falls out the back. Young was there, well picked up by Palmer. The kick towards half forward's okay.
Blues are on.
Silvani inside 50. There's a one-on-one. He kicks out in front. It was a nice little ball, and then the snap. Just shaved the post, I believe. Paddy Kerr. He was celebrating. Goal umpire was very quick to indicate that it was only worth 1 point. It scores a level. Early on, 3.5 minutes in.
I'm hoping the goal umpire had some noise advantage down there, Snicko, because I'm on the exact angle there and I thought that was a goal.
Looked pretty good off the boot, but goal umpires called it a behind as DeRay takes the kick in. To no advantage really, and taken over the line by Hayes and Silvani. Both have been busy early. Boundary throw-in 55 metres out from the Northern Blues goal. They'll be hoping to just hold it inside their forward half for the moment, but it comes out Footscray's way. Hayes with a clearing kick. He's been really busy early on. William might have been taken high. Umpire called play on. Johnson was in there for the Northern Blues. Eventually William caught holding the footy. Good tackle by Jared Garlett, and he wants to go inboard immediately. Lobe's on outer side, and that's where they're going to go with the kick. O'Rourke, the man to get it to him, but Lobe dropped the easiest of marks. Now a chance here for the Dogs. Young with him. Eventually the cavalry comes in Richards. He laid a strong tackle. And in again goes Richards, and now he's got a little bit of space. Turns on the jets, as we know he likes to do. Sends it towards half forward, over the head of William. He'll have the speed here in the foot race. Tracks back, gets there first, gathers it beautifully, burns off the opponent, and dribbles a behind. Disappointing finish there from Ruben William. Should have done much better there. Footscray lead it by a point.
Garlett, a quick kick in. Mark taken by the 23rd man, and Sonny Brazier. Still inside defensive 50. Wants to go towards the outer side, but he went to a 2-on-1, and the numbers one out. It's Shaki. Goes inboard. Porter slips over. Ball's up for grabs at centre half forward for the Dogs. Hand pass comes back. Jure spins away from one tackler. Then gets a little left foot ball inside 50. It's good for Rourke Smith, and the mark is taken directly in front, just inside 50. Weehall kick from.
Great evasive work from Taylor Jure there, just showing his experience, spinning out of the tackle and setting up that one.
Plenty of action on the interchange bench as both sides take advantage of the stop in play. 3 or 4 changes each. All eyes right now on Rourke Smith. Wants to load up on that left. The kick's on the way. Goal umpire working to his right. It hits the post. A poster each. 3 behinds for the Dogs. 1 for the Blues. 6.5 gone. Opening term, and again the quick kick in for the Northern Blues. It works out okay. The mark's taken by Goddard.
Has it just inside defensive 50. It is Hugh Goddard. Took 12 marks last week, more than anyone else in the VFL. He's having an excellent season so far. Can't be too far away from an AFL debut for Carlton. Taken number 1 in the rookie draft last year was Hugh Goddard. Eventually just called to move back behind his mark, and we can get play started again. Had 22 touches to go with those 12 marks, so he's really having an impact down back. Sends it long up the line. Phillips the only man to fly.
Great play from Kerr there, just cutting across and blocking the Bulldogs' opponent there.
Schumacher wants to move it quickly by hand and does so. Long driving ball towards half forward, but Lockie Young always in the best position to take that mark in front of Palmer, and does so. Sends another one long to that one-on-one with Ruben William and Jared Garlett. Call it a draw in the end, but the Dogs emerge with the footy. Long ball inside forward 50, off the boot of McComb. Now Johnson, the calming presence for the Northern Blues, just pokes it out wide, and Silvani can gather and go.
It's Ben. The right football toward the outer wing, looking for Kennedy. Couldn't take the mark, and McComb was there to sweep it up. Duray. Now the hand pass comes wide. This is Karmas. He goes in board and coughs it up to Blakey. Right half back for the Northern Blues. Another poor kick. It will result in a turnover. Eventually Duray picks it up. Hand pass off. The little kick inside 50. It bounces away from Shaki. Goddard gets his hand pass off. Now the clearing kick on that outer side. McComb tried to trap it. Couldn't. It goes out of play. Boundary throw in on the City side wing here of Icon Park.
Probably a good result there for the Blues, the ball going out of bounds. They can just reset here. Their structure from the centre line onwards just seems a little haphazard.
Phillips in the ruck, the double fist. You probably heard that in our effects. Mike Kennedy gets his kick towards half forward. De Koning not in the best position to take that mark. Lewis Young was. And the Dogs have it deep at left half back. Young to the wing. Coming late to the contest, but not taking the mark there was Sweet. Blues looking to sweep it up. Lang goes back inside defensive 50 by hand to Blakey. Now it's in the hands of Jonathan O'Rourke, premiership player at Box Hill last year. Kick toward the broadcast wing. No mark was taken. Off hands it came. Duray almost slipped over. Did well to keep his feet in the end, and a nice little kicking board for Riley West. Far too far out to score though, as West sends the ball inside 50, probably miscued it. The mark couldn't be taken. Blakey gets another touch. Kick toward his broadcast side. A nice little fly there by Lockie Young. Takes it right in front of the bench, right in front of Glenn Hill. Goes to his right. Sullivan. Not a great ball up towards half forward. The kicking letting both sides down at the moment. It's in the hands of Matt Cottrell.
One of the players the Blues picked up in the supplemental selection period just before the season started is Matt Cottrell. Kick towards centre wing, thumped over the boundary line by a pack of Bulldogs. And we'll get a boundary throw in right in front of the benches here at Icon Park. 3-1 in favour of the Dogs. No goals after 10 minutes here in this opening term. Northern Blues trying to change that here as Kennedy once again involved. Gives it to Cottrell. High ball inside 50. Phillips got it. Just had the reach on his opponent despite not being the best placed, and was able to take the mark about 30 out from goal.
Just too tall on that occasion, Michael. He set himself and certainly out-leaped and outreached. Can he finish?
3 goals, 1 last week for Andrew Phillips. Has 4 goals, 3 for the season. This kick will come from about 35 metres out. Slightly better than a 45-degree angle as he makes his way in. Missing to the near side. Another minor score here at Icon Park. They just can't find the middle of the big sticks. It's 3-2 in favour of the Dogs.
Prudent runs out of the square. Now to left football toward the outer wing. McComb's his target. Takes a bounce. A couple of Blues around him. Now William immediately pressured. Ball is eventually coughed up, and now Fasolo has it for the Northern Blues. Kick towards half forward. It's punched away by Lockie Young. Boundary throw in just outside 50. We're doing well so far. I'm going to jinx us now, Peps, but we haven't said Carlton nor Western Bulldogs yet by mistake, so I'm sure one of us will at some stage today.
Thanks a lot for that, Adam. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I've just mozzed the both of us. That applies to you too, Hilly. Boundary throw in. Phillips. Run it down and gets it back. Dispossessed. No prior opportunity. Walk went down. Ball up. Just outside 50 here for the Northern Blues. It is 2 behinds to 3 behinds. Ball eventually extracted. The kick on goal was a rushed one, and it does go all the way through. It's Matt Owies. Finally a goal. 1-2-8 Northern Blues. Footscray 3 behinds, 12 and a half minutes in. And Matt Owies kicks his 5th goal of the season.
And it just started to look dangerous in the last 5 minutes, the Blues. It's really been a game that's been played in the Western Bulldogs forward half so far. But just in the last 5 minutes, the Blues seem to have settled, been able to get their ball movement going. And a couple of penetrating inside 50s has resulted in a goal. It's a good reward there for the Blues. They've worked hard. They've worked hard defensively to hold out the Dogs so far. And then they have certainly been rewarded with a goal there.
One of the really interesting stories in the AFL and also the VFL, Matt Owies, was a college basketballer at Seattle University before coming back, and Carlton took a chance on him. He's had a pretty good season in the VFL so far, as we have perhaps a starting position infraction, and it's going to be a Footscray free kick, middle of the ground.
No warning.
Porter sends it high and long, but Goddard there for the Northern Blues. Takes the relieving mark and sends it wide quickly. Outnumbered here, the Blues. Shaki needs to be good, but he's gang tackled, but pushed in the back. To Koning, and Owies just got into his back. And it'll be Shaki's ball. He's been lively early on. Plenty of Western Bulldogs fans out there will really like to see this man elevate and take the next level. Number 2 pick in the draft a couple of years ago now. His kick towards half forward, no mark taken. Goddard has an opponent wrapped up and will eventually get a stoppage. Right half forward for the Bulldogs. They trail by 5 points despite having the ascendancy for the most of these first 14 minutes, as Richards at the back sends it to the one-on-one. William and Johnson, it gets to the back. William should gather and goal, and he missed his boot. He's had a couple of howlers early on, Ruben William. And the Blues now able to come in and able to force the stoppage. That's a great result for the Northern Blues. That should have been another goal to Ruben William. Instead, he's left to rue a missed opportunity.
It's kind of been the knock on his game, just his finishing and sometimes his skills around the ground let him down.
Spent a couple of years up in Brisbane with the Lions on the rookie list, is back now, and as we have a free kick from the ruck, comes out, but intercept mark taken for the Dogs by Vyojo Rainbow.
It was DeConey who won the free kick for Carlton. I did it. Northern Blues.
The Mods.
Long kick back inside 50. And almost a mark taken there by Goddard. Ground level ball. And we'll have a ball up.
Did you set yourself up for that, Adam?
Must have. 1-2-8 to 3 behinds. Ball is thrown up. I remember doing a game last year. I think it was a final between Box Hill and Geelong. I must have said Hawthorn about 4 times, Peps. It's for Solo that has it. His kick, right foot ball towards centre wing. Nice ball, mark taken by Kurt. Not exactly where Blues fans would like him to be, though. He's behind centre wing.
The long ball is probably not the option for them here. They really need to be lowering the eyes to move the ball forward. They haven't got to be anybody big deep.
He went by hand over the top to Darcy Lang, and then he goes backwards. So the Blues are being patient. Blakey received it from McCready. It didn't go 15 though. Blues maintain possession, looking to get the switch. Richards stretched, couldn't take the mark. Hand pass over the top for William. The chance to redeem himself. Hayes, the little chipper over the top for Richards. Takes the mark in front of Glen Hill. Goes in board. That's okay. Nice little build up here for the Bulldogs so far. It's Wallace, the late inclusion. Kick toward half forward. Garlett on all fours tried to take the mark. William got in his way. Hand pass over the top. This is LeBoyce. He's wrapped up immediately. Did not get rid of the ball. Holding the ball in a free kick. Karmas quick hands out. Scott 55 out left foot. There's an open man in the square and an easy goal for the Bulldogs. The finish from Lockie Sullivan. 1-3-9. Footscray leads. Northern 1-2-8. 17 gone opening turn.
really just a really poor error there by LeBoyce, trying to take the tackler on there. And you're right in a really dangerous part of the ground, centre half back in the corridor, and it was a risky play, and it did not go their way. And the Dogs capitalised. It was a great kick to the goal square, and good finish for the Dogs.
A much needed goal for the Bulldogs, really, when you think about it. They've had more disposals. They've had a lot more of the ball. 10 inside 50s to 3, Hilly. So they desperately needed that one. Finally, they get on the board with a major. And they lead it by a point. Back in the middle. Lobe over the top of Sweet, won it down, but all Bulldogs at ground level, and forward they go again. Can they get another one quickly? Handball over the top, cut off by Garlett, just paddling towards the boundary line. Has the speed, not quite. Richards gets to him. Great stuff. He has been excellent early on as Ed Richards, and he wastes no time in wheeling onto that lovely left. But the mark is dropped by Drummond. One he should have taken, bounced off his chest. Garlett again to mop up for the Blues. Pruden needs to go against a couple and does well for the Dogs to halve the contest. Here comes Lockie Young. Gives it over the top to Richards, who can again get onto that left. Burned off Brazier. Sends it towards a square. It might go all the way. Not quite. A cruel bounce. And another minor score for the Dogs. They're peppering. 1-4-10 plays 1-2-8.
Angus Schumacher to bring this in. He'll put it onto his trusty left. Goes down the line. That was a nice ball for Lang. Couldn't take the mark, though, off hands, and Pruden sends it back to where it came from. Kicks on the way, goes all the way. This is a nice start by Footscray. 2-4-16 now, 1-2-8. The Northern Blues were approaching time on in this opening term on Hardjacker. Totally workwear VFL Live.
Didn't like Darcy Lang going up one-handed there, and again in the same spot on the ground where LeBoyce made an error a few moments ago. It's one of those areas of the ground that you just got to be solid and just be foundational with the way you play your football. Going up one-handed, turnover, Dogs easy goal.
Anthony Scott and Hugh Goddard, the leading disposal winners on the ground with 7 each. Ed Richards not far behind them with 6 and 3 tackles. He's been a star early on in this contest. As we wait for the Northern Blues to get a man on the broadcast wing, Finbar O'Dwyer making his way there, and we're ready to go. 19 minutes into this opening term, tapped into the path of West, decided to go with the soccer instead of taking possession. Garlett came to meet it hard, but went without the ball. In again goes West. Silvani there with him, eventually extracted, but that's as far as it goes. Shaki lays a strong tackle, and we'll get a ball up at centre half forward for Footscray. Leading it by 8 points. They've dominated most statistical indicators as Scott again sends it long. Big fly came. No mark taken. Lots of numbers around this. Northern Blues defence needs to be good here. Kennedy goes again. Had his handball partially smothered. Richards, he's been everywhere early on. Gives it off. Smith, interception. McCready, and now a chance for the Northern Blues. De Koning in the one-on-one with Karmas. He did well to come across, did the young man Karmas, and get a fist on it. DeRay over the top of this footy. De Koning did well not to get into his back and give away the free kick. It'll be a ball up. Into time on opening term. Footscray leading it by 8 points. Silvani overran it. Now a chance for Porter. Quick hands were excellent. Gives it off to West. Inside forward 50. Looking for the one-on-one, but not happening there. Eventually the ball spills out. Gleeson, snap, bounce. Goddard, rush behind.
Smart by Goddard there. It would have been tackled if he'd taken that ball immediately. Really smart.
Ball's cut off here at half forward once more. Smith takes the mark for Footscray. Inboard just a little overcooked that time for Duray. Always was in the right spot. Hand pass comes out. O'Dwyer inside 50. The long ball. There's a foot race here for it. Fletcher Roberts is leading it at the moment. Karmas comes back to provide some help. The lone blue was Palmer. Eventually it goes out of play. Forward pocket.
It's just an interesting setup for the Blues going forward. They haven't got any big players, key position players, being the last man back. They're going with a smaller option. I'm not sure it's working for them at the moment.
Sweets in the ruck here against Phillips. Went over his head with the tap. Over the top of it here, Riley West. He clears defensive 50. Not a penetrating kick, though. It was a bouncing ball and hacked back in. It's in the hot spot here for the Blues. It's bouncing. Karmas. Kerr did well to get the tap down. Always for his second. Kicks the goal. Blues get one back. 2-2-14. Footscray 2-5. 17. 22 and a half minutes into the opening term.
Really, really good play from Owies there. Took the ball, did not go laterally, pierced straight through the pack and finished nicely. Really nice goal from Owies, and he's off to a fly with 2 goals already.
Certainly is. Off to a good start, as you said, Hilly. And the Northern Blues just hanging in there despite the fact the Bulldogs have really dominated this contest. 23 minutes in, but only a 3-point ball game. So you'd have to think Josh Fraser will be happy with that at quarter time. Back in the middle. Sweet and Lobe go at it again. Lobe's been dominant early on in the aerial contest in the ruck. Holding the ball, free kick going Footscray's way. O'Rourke tackled by a couple of dogs, and it's going to be Wallace's ball. Sends it out wide for Gleeson on the lead, and he takes the mark. One of a number of St Kevin's old boys on the Footscray VFL list is Jared Gleeson. Sends it long towards half forward. Good mark taken by Shaki. And he gets onto that left immediately because he has Williams standing all on his own in a pocket of space 30 metres out, as good as directly in front.
Now, can he finish, Michael? This has been the problem.
He's done a lot right early on in this game, has Ruben Williams, but the finishing skills have just evaded him. This one will be a set shot. He won't be rushed. Comes in, kick from about 25 metres out. Looks good off the boot. And finally, William gets his goal. And Footscray's third. They lead it by 9 points.
And after going the first probably about 12 or 13 minutes without a goal, it's been a flurry. We've had 5 goals in 9 minutes, and the game has really opened up here from both teams. And it's not so much defensive lockdown, and the ball's moving around a lot quicker.
All 3 Footscray goals have come from the VFL list. Josh Pruden, Lockie Sullivan, and now Ruben Williams. 2 goals for Matt Owies for the Northern Blues. Nice little game brewing here at Icon Park. Phillips resets in the ruck against Sweets. Jack Silvani in the middle for the Blues as well. Umpire puts it down. Good bounce. Good bouncing conditions today here at Icon Park. A nice tackle there by Silvani. Still the ball spilt out. Hacked towards half forward by Sullivan. Bouncing ball. Blues regain possession. The hand pass though was interesting, and now it's a nice tackle here by Ruben Williams to hold up Harrison McCready. We've got a ball up right half forward. The flanks are fairly deep here at Icon Park. It's Phillips who snatches it out of the ruck. Now O'Rourke goes back by hand, laying in the long sleeves. His kick toward the wing. Owies can't take the mark. Takes a bounce and goes out of play in front of the interchange gates. Adam Sarikoglu, Michael Pepichelli and Glenn Hill. Hope you're enjoying the coverage so far. VFL.com.au. If you're watching, SSEN2 is the other way to have a listen to the Northern Blues and Footscray. Lane gets a kick towards half forward, out the back, and for Solo, quickly hacks it inside 50. Fairly vacant 50 to tap on here. He picked up by Lobe. Toward the square he goes. Bouncing ball. It's going to go out of play. It's escorted out of play by Taylor Duray, the former Hawk. Boundary throw-in. Premiership player.
He's had a good start for the game, Taylor Duray. Yep. Been really impressed with the way he's tackled this so far. And he'd be looking to push for a senior selection. 5 disposals.
Here's a quick snap-on goal. Shut toward the top of the square. Backing back was Fletcher Roberts. Now it's Rourke Smith. The kick down the line's okay. The mark is taken by Ben Kavara. Has definitely proved himself at this level. Finally on an AFL list. Smith towards half forward, but straight down the throat of Alex Johnson. Blues again patiently working it through toward the corridor. It's in the hands of Kennedy as we speak. We go back deep inside 50. Lobe out the back though to mark. Has been taken. It's Finbar O'Dwyer. Slide angle, and he'll have a shot from about 35.
Really well judged in the air on that occasion by Finbar. Let's see if he can go back and slot this one. Perfect conditions, no breeze to speak of. It's just a matter of execution.
The left foot's on the way, and it's a goal for the Northern Blues. 2-2-14, trailing Footscray 3-5-23. We're approaching quarter time, nearly 28 gone.
I think we've just ticked over 3-2-20 for the Blues.
Yeah, that's right. Our scoreboard on VFL.com.au just tracking a little bit behind. Owies has the 2 goals for the Northern Blues, and that one there for Finbar O'Dwyer. So it's a 3-point ball game in favour of Footscray. Their goal kickers are Josh Prudent, Lockie Sullivan and Ruben William. I feel like they've wrested back a little bit of momentum here, Hilly, the Northern Blues.
Yeah, they certainly have. Since the game's opened up a little bit, they've been able to move the ball quite nicely around the ground, and I think just getting their set up in their forward 50 is starting to occur here for the Blues, and they'll take a power beating today.
We'll get a secondary stoppage in the middle of the ground after Kennedy and Sullivan get tangled up. Approaching 30 minutes gone in this opening term. Handballing to no one there was Viojo Rainbow. Might just get it back here. In fact, it's Sullivan, but the siren beats his kick inside forward 50. And at quarter time here at Icon Park, it's Footscray 3-5-23, leading the Northern Blues 3-2-20. A good start from both sides. Footscray dominated early on, but the Northern Blues charged back and they trail it by only 3 points at quarter time. We'll take a short break and get back to you after this.
Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yes! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality. Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Jack Heverin, Tuesdays from 9 p.m on 1116 SEN.
But it's your job. You'll be fine. Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Live on SEN2 DAB+.
I'm a digital radio. To help explain why it's time to update your old radio, with me is my friend Digital TV.
Hi.
Where you go?
Remember when us TVs went digital?
Everyone does. Get to the point.
Suddenly you got lots more channels for free.
Yes.
Well, it's the same with digital radio.
When you buy a digital radio, you can get all your favourite stations plus up to 30 extra ones, playing all kinds of music, live sport and talk.
That's pretty great.
It's really great.
All you have to do is head into your nearest retailer
or check out digitalradioplus.com.au
and upgrade to digital.
Your Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coaches' huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
Love your sport? Then you'll love SEN.
Stuart Appleby has come from 7 strokes behind.
And you'll find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport.
Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
A 3-point lead for Footscray here at quarter time, 3-5-23. The Bulldogs lead the Northern Blues 3-2-20. Josh Pruden, Lockie Sullivan and Ruben William all have one each for Footscray. For the Northern Blues, 2 goals to Matt Owies and another one to Finbar Odeswire. Adam Sarri-Coglu, Michael Peppicelli alongside me. Glenn Hill is our boundary rider, currently in the huddles. We'll get Glenn Hill and hopefully one of the 2 coaches coming out of those huddles. I have Michael with me at the moment. A couple of stats after 1 quarter of play here at Icon Park.
So as we noted, for the most part of that first term, Adam, the Bulldogs really did have control of the game. They've got more disposals, plenty more inside 50s, leading that count 18-7, but just not able to really put it on the scoreboard. 8 scoring shots to 5, and they've been a little bit inaccurate, the Dogs, 3-5 as opposed to 3-2 for the Northern Blues, but they were able to even things up a little bit as the quarter went on. The Blues, looking from an individual perspective, Anthony Scott, the leading disposal winner on the ground with 8, and he's followed by Shaki and William with 7 apiece for Footscray. And for the Northern Blues, Mason Blakey and Hugh Goddard, both defenders, leading the way with 7 disposals, while Alex Johnson, another defender, has 6, and also Matt Kennedy as well, just doing what he does in the middle of the ground.
Have you got me, boys?
We do, Lily.
Yeah, it's just testing whether we're going to have enough coverage from the far side of the ground, but we'll be joined by Josh Fraser in just a moment, just addressing the team.
A few more supporters around the Northern Blues huddle, as you probably would expect at the old Princess Park. We'll wait for Josh Fraser. One of the great characters, Hilly, of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL, usually pretty media friendly as well.
Very likeable person.
Yep. Looks like the huddle is just breaking up now.
It is. For
the Northern Blues. Do your work, Hilly?
Yeah, just grab Josh. Thanks again for your time on VFL Live, Josh. It was a great second half of that first quarter.
Yeah, it was better. Probably still not the level we'd like to be, but we think there's some growth in our game, so we're excited about that. And yeah, we started to calm down a little bit in the second part of that first quarter, which was good.
As the game opened up, you guys seemed to get some ascendancy through the middle of the ground.
Yeah, I think our mids started to play their roles a little bit more consistently, and we started to make better decisions with the ball in hand. But we gave them too many looks in our back half by turning the footy over, so we've tried to address that, and we'll see how we go in the second quarter.
No worries. Thanks for your time, Josh.
Josh Fraser, he might be a more passionate NFL man than you and I put together, Michael Peppicelli, if that's somehow possible. It was a pretty good opening term. The Blues obviously steadied late. Footscray had their good passages as well. Pretty even contest we've got so far.
Yeah, that's right, Adam. And I think, as we mentioned in the pre-game, they've really struggled against those upper echelon sides so far this year, the Northern Blues. But coming up against a real top 4 contender in Footscray, they took it right up to them in that first quarter, especially probably the last 10 minutes or so of that opening term. So Josh Fraser will certainly be happy with parts of what he's seen, as he suggested while speaking to Hilly there. But for Footscray, they've had more scoring shots, they've had more of the footy, they've just been a little bit inefficient going forward, and expect them to look to rectify that heading into this second term. Just quickly around the grounds, deep in the final term over at Home Park, it's Richmond beating Coburg by 84 points. In fact, it's just ticked over to full time. So a big 14-goal win for the Tigers.
Jacob Townsend kicked 5 goals and Luke Nelson got 3 for the Tigers. Big boy Peter McAvoy gets 2 for Coburg. A big win there for the Tigers. I think that's in Beaconsfield, isn't it? Home Park.
I think you might be right, Adam. Disappointing day for the Lions, but better days certainly ahead, as just waiting for one young child to make his way off the ground. He doesn't want to come off.
We saw a similar situation at St Bernard's, didn't we? But
luckily, play not going on.
Off he comes.
He knows how to escape the tackle too.
We're getting this now on the video footage on VFL.com.au, but
he still wants to come back on.
I think they need to clear the go on the outside of the fence here.
One of the Bulldogs officials is just trying to get a hold of him. He certainly is doing the right thing. He's just checking on that stranger. I don't know you. He's found his dad now, so
here comes Dad.
We'll be underway in just a moment.
Finally ready to go here in the second term. It's Footscray leading by 3 points as Luke Porter gets us underway. De Koning over the top with the athleticism. Got it to Kennedy on all fours. Now a chance for the Northern Blues through Fisher. Disposed of after he kicked it. In fact, pushed in the back as he kicked it. So the free will come back. Silvani wanted it downfield, but
it was a really tight one there, Michael. I thought it could have been paid downfield.
So take two. Fisher long inside 50, looking for Silvani from 3 deep. Got hands to it. Now at ground level, the Bulldogs holding on grimly. Sullivan laying the strong tackle. Lots of numbers around this ball, and eventually the umpire intervenes. 3-5 place, 3-2 at Icon Park. Round 11 action and Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Live as Silvani shovels it out to Goddard. He's kicked to a dangerous spot. Now a chance, left foot banana across the face of goal. Will De Koning get there? Not quite. In fact, it's Kerr. And he got a cruel bounce as well. Footscray to clear only momentarily. Out of bounds it goes in front of Drummond. And in fact, off a boot. It did come off his boot. So McCready's free kick right half forward.
Fairly flooded 50 here for the Blues. McCready hooked one in toward the pocket. Always his kick was smothered by Riley West. And it goes through the legs of Owies. Does have 2 goals in this game. A lot of humanity over the top of the Sharon. And that results in a ball up.
Just putting himself in really dangerous spots, Owies. Just front and centre there. His Bulldogs opponent didn't go with him, and he had a little bit more space. He might have had another chance for a score.
The tap down here, Sullivan. Partially interrupted kick and ended up with Roberts. He does clear defensive 50. It'll take a couple bounces and go out of play before Schumacher can do anything with that one.
Matty Lobe just doing a couple of run-throughs in front of you, Hilly. Any injury concern or just trying to keep warm?
Just keeping warm, I'd say, at the moment. No, he looks in fine fettle.
De Koning grabs it out of the ruck, goes up towards half forward, and that's a really good fly there by Karmas. Takes the relieving mark, goes short. Now it's Duray, received it from Lockie Young, goes wide towards half forward. A jump at the ball there by Smith. No mark could be taken. It's a hot ball here up for grabs. Blakey was ripped off it. Here is Rock Smith. Left foot's on the way, and it's tracking left. It is falling left of the goal face. A minor score for Footscray. That puts them to 3-6-24 to 3-2-20.
Driving to the ground today, I was thinking of some of the players I really look forward to watching play, and Rocksmith's one of those, and hoping he can have a good game today and start pushing for a senior selection for the Dogs.
Kick in comes in, and Northern Blues have a little bit of space. O'Rourke can pop it over the top to Fasolo. The Prince of Perth has some space at half forward, takes a bounce, takes another one. Karmas is chasing him, sends it in board. The kick is perfect.
Great kick. Super kick.
And the mark is taken about 25 metres out, directly in front of goal. And a chance here for the Northern Blues to kick the first. It's always again.
Really team-orientated decision there from Fasolo. He looked up, realised that the vacant centre corridor was free with only the one Blues player in sight, and hit him on the chest.
Going for number 3 is Matt Owies. This one probably the easiest he's had. He comes in and makes no mistake. Owies on fire at Icon Park, and the Northern Blues are back in front. 4-2-26, plays 3-6-24.
And really, probably since about the 20-minute mark of the first quarter, the Northern Blues have looked probably the better team. The first 20 minutes was dominated by the Dogs. But since then, I think since the game's opened up, the Blues have looked the better team, and they've started to get their structure right in their forward half and forward of centre. And they've been able to move the ball a lot better. And at the moment, the Dogs just need to get the next one, make sure they're still deep in this contest. It's still very tight, of course.
Just a 2-point game here. 3 of Northern's 4 goals belong to Matt Owies. Back in the middle, Fisher, Lobe did win the ruck battle, sends the Blues into attack once more. Just at the top of 50, Lebois at the fall. Needed to get his hand pass out, couldn't find O'Rourke. McComb won it back, Wallace, and now Scott having a good day. Takes a bounce on centre wing. Left foot goes inside 50. There's a one-on-one in the marking contest. No mark was taken. Well done, Ben Silvani. Tried to slap it back toward goal. Overrunning it was Shacky. William there as well. Eventually seen out of play by Ed Richards. Boundary throw in.
Ben Silvani very lucky to get away with some holding there. Certainly impeded the Dogs player who wanted to fly for the mark.
So we're at the right forward pocket, eastern end of Icon Park. Umpire brings this in, the Legend Stands end of the ground. It's on ground level, eventually extracted and cleared away by Fisher. Bounces in front of Brazier. Eventually reclaimed by Hayes. The hand pass inboard made life a little hard for Taylor Durate. And that'll be holding the ball and a free kick going against the Dogs. Nice tackle laid there by Finbar O'Dwyer, doing it at both ends. Left foot goes up towards half forward. 2-on-1 though in favour of the Dogs. The leaving mark taken by Fletcher Roberts. That wasn't 15 for Scott. And then an underground ball. Ends up working out okay for Prudent. The switch. Here's Dylan VOJ Rainbow. In familiar surrounds, the former Blue. Next in the chain is Callum Porter. Careful build up from Footscray. McComb. 80 out from goal. Wallace. Still a long way from home for Footscray. Trailing by 2 points. Wallace goes inside 50. Backing back was Phillips. No mark taken. Garlett had to go back and fetch it. The tackle from Silvani. Hack toward goal. It's bouncing across the face. And through for a minor score was a really rushed kick by Ben Kavara. Almost paid off, but margins pegged back to a single point, 4-2-26 to 3-6-27-25.
They've lifted, have the Northern Blues, and well, Footscray just needs to hold on for the time being as a good intercept mark is taken out wide and immediately inboard for McComb, getting busy in the last couple of minutes. Young man from Vermont in the Eastern Footy League. Sends it towards the other side of the ground, and William leading takes the mark about 45 out from goal.
He's played in a few variety of roles, Reuben William, through the midfield, up forward, off half back. Just really hasn't found a home, but maybe today he can slot a few more goals. Maybe half forward is his spot.
Known primarily as a defender as Reuben William. He looks confident to have the shot. He'll kick from right on 50, and he's got the distance. Reuben William might have himself a new home, Hilly. He's got a couple.
Coolly slotted. So after a couple of howlers early, his 2 set shots have been executed to a tee. So that'll build his confidence up, and certainly the Dogs will be happy to get that goal on the scoreboard to get themselves back in front.
Dogs back in front. They lead it by 5 points. We've travelled 8.5 minutes in this second term.
Came into round 11 goals for the year, did Reuben William. Now has 2 to his name today. As Aaron Trussell, the 23rd man, comes sprinting onto the ground, wants to get inside forward 50 before there's a 6-6-6 infringement. So everyone resets. Good little game of football here at Icon Park, and it's a 5-point lead that belongs to Footscray. Later restart in the middle. Lobe in the ruck against Shacky. Bounce favoured Lobe. Just did well to get the tap down. Fisher slipped over. It was okay. His kick not good though. That wasn't okay. Mark taken by Richards. He goes for a dash, takes an interesting bounce, then backtracks. The switching ball is good for the Ojo Rainbow. Can keep on running. Dogs inside 50 once more. The kick's going to go to the top of the square. Sullivan at the back. He dropped the mark. Chance here for Trusler. Brought down. Nice tackle, Blakey. It hit the post on the way through. Minor score. 4-8-32, playing 4-2-26. We've played 9.5 in this second term, and that's not a great kick in. Mark was dropped. Prudent needed some help. Hand pass came out. Now a chance for the Dogs. A left foot snap. It's going to go across the face and sneak in for a point. I think it was Ed Richards on that outer side. So a couple of behinds for Footscray. 4-9-33, playing 4-2-26. We've played 10 minutes in this second term.
13 scoring shots to 6 in favour of the Dogs, but not quite the scoreboard dominance you might expect, as Fisher just goes for a little bit of a jog inside defensive 50, and the clearing kick out by Johnson, out of bounds on the full. It'll be coming straight back. Pruden, the skipper, to take the free kick for Footscray. About a kick and a half from goal. Doesn't have too many leads coming. Eventually William offers something, but decides to go backwards instead for Karmas. And now he slows it down.
The Blues seem to be happy to give up that kick sideways or that short kick, but once they get to about half forward, all the Blues players who've shuffled back will look to stick to their man.
Well, they've cut off the switching lane here, forcing Young to go long up the guts, and that's exactly what Carlton wanted, and it's turned over by Fisher. Northern Blues, in fact. Finally got me a quarter in, but now a chance for the Dogs. Wallace, handball to Pruden, and now the mark taken by Hayes. Quick dish off. Poker into the pocket is good, and the mark taken by Scott. Didn't have to break stride. Porter, the man who kicked it.
It'd be really interesting to
Kavara, in fact, it was.
See what the stat is at the moment for goals off turnover for the Dogs, or even scores off turnover, because the Blues seem to be giving up errors, and the Dogs are capitalising at the moment.
Well, they've had trouble doing this today. Footscray, as Scott comes in and shows his teammates how it's done. Dogs out to a 13-point lead. 5-9-39 to 4-2-26. Approaching 12 minutes gone, second term.
It's just been a purple patch this last 4 or 5 minutes, and most of the Dogs' scores, I think they kicked 2-2 in the last 4 or 5 minutes. Those scores have come from turnovers. So the Blues are just making errors in the back half. They're getting plenty of hands on footy. They're just not moving the ball out of the defensive 50 in the right manner.
Leading disposal winner on the ground is Anthony Scott. Averages about 15 for the season, already up to 12, and has a goal as well.
They've kicked 5 of the last 6 goals of the game. Footscray here. Everyone's back in their starting positions. Umpire Andrew Talbot will get things back underway. Another very good bounce. It's been good in the last couple of weeks here on VFL Live. Inside 50, Garlick goes up, takes the relieving mark for the Blues. He quickly gets things moving toward the broadcast side, and the mark is taken by Jonathan O'Rourke. Delisted by Hawthorn. Goes down the line and fisted away by Lockie Young. Boundary throwing on true centre wing. Round 11 action. Hardjacker, totally workwear, VFL Live. Shaki in the ruck, did well to get it down to Sullivan. Quick kick towards half forward, over the head of Smith. Foot race for the ball, and Scott's leading it for the Dogs. Picks up now, gets a look at the sticks. Good pressure though, coming back late from Goddard, and it's a minor score in the end. But they are peppering big time at the moment, and now 5-10 Footscray 40. Northern 4-2-26, a 14-point lead for the Bulldogs, and here's Blakey.
Goes wide, and now De Koning has it just outside defensive 50. Pops it over the top for Fasolo against 3 Bulldogs. Did well to get it to ground, but West just overran it, and now a chance for O'Rourke. He's tackled by Jaray. Silvani in there as well. West just rips it out of his opponent's hand, but didn't see a tackle coming there. Did Wallace. LeBoyce got into him, but eventually the Dogs able to steady and send it towards half forward. That ball bounces just in play, and Over the line it goes in front of Gleeson.
West was really lucky there not to cause some damage to the way he attacked the footy there. Seemed to go in with his knees. And one of the Carlton players, I've done it now, Northern Blues players have come off second best there.
Footscray free kick in the ruck. It'll be Shacky's ball. Perhaps too far out to score for him.
He's got a booming left foot. I'd back him in to make the distance here, and I think he's backing himself in.
Well, no one's really leading at him, which probably suggests his teammates think he's got this in him. As he comes in for his first of the afternoon. Got close to the man on the mark. Is it all the way? Not quite. Had the accuracy, but was touched on the line. Line of score as we have a blood rule. 5-11 now, the Dogs leading Northern Blues by 15 points.
It's Phillips off, and it was from that incident where West came in with his knees to that contest. So he copped Phillips very high, and he's got blood streaming from his nose at the moment.
It's in the hands of Goddard at the moment. Thought about going to Darcy Lang, who got rid of the long sleeves at quarter time. Goes back instead. Johnson, that's okay. Back in the hands of Lang. Finbarrow Dwyer's just come on, but that was the long option. He went short instead to Fasolo. Prince of Perth, is it, Peps?
That's right, Adam. One of the nicknames from his younger years.
Centre wing ball. Big jump at the ball there by Fletcher Roberts. And what's happened there? Looking for out of bounds on the forwards, Jonathan O'Rourke. It's a boundary throw-in instead.
Good call from the umpire. I think it landed right on the line.
Lobe doing much of the ruck work today for the Blues. Grabbed it out of the ruck contest, hacked it towards half forward, but that's where it came unstuck. Tripping over was Wallace, but he did well to get it to Pruden. Now West gets a look from just outside 50. Kicks on the way, takes a bounce, and that is another goal for the Bulldogs. 6-11, 47 Northern Blues. They're stuck on 4-26. A lovely finish by Rolly West.
Well, it's certainly capitalised in the last 10 minutes now. Yeah, back on top, Footscray. They were certainly struggling. 5 minutes into this quarter, Northern Blues look far and away the better team. That had a 15 or 20 minute patch, just dominant football. But the last 10 minutes has been all the Dogs, and they've taken control of this game. And now it's up to the Blues to hit back.
Asserting their dominance at the moment are the Dogs. That was West's 8th disposal and first goal of the afternoon. Scott still leading the way on the ground with 13. From the restart, neither ruckman got a clean hand on that. Fasolo overran it, and now a big tackle comes in, and that man's dived on the footy, Fisher, and it's going to be a Footscray free kick. Porter goes immediately, sends it long. William lurking, got a hand to it. Good defending by the Northern Blues. Johnson got a crucial fist in there, and they'll get a free kick for high contact.
Goddard taken very high there.
A little bit slow to get up as well, Hugh Goddard, but able to take his kick. Sends it wide for Jack Silvani. Had a piece of it but couldn't bring it down. Now a chance for Footscray. The vision was lovely. And the mark is taken by Wallace. In scoring range, will kick from about 45 metres out to give the Dogs a 27-point lead.
And he's a really nice kick of the football, Wallace. And I just about back him in here, even though he's out on the flank.
Brother of Mitch Wallace, he comes in. Looks okay off the boot, but just missing to the near side. Another behind for Footscray. 6-12 now, plays 4-2.
Goddard receives it from Johnson. Blues looking to use a city side wing. The left foot ball from Goddard. It fell all the way out the back, and Palmer took the mark down the line. LeBoyce has it just behind true centre wing. Did well to take the mark in front of Roberts. Wanted to go one way, then just goes the really short option. Jack Silvani, also in the sleeveless jumper today, goes inside 50. No mark was taken by Kerr. Ground level ball. Palmer brought to ground. Ball up inside 50 for the Northern Blues. Need a steadier. They've conceded the last 3 goals of the game, the Blues.
And they've also conceded 18 scoring shots to 6, and 18 is a lot. 19 minutes into the second quarter.
Matt Owies kicked a goal very early in this second term. It's been all Footscray since. Smothered off the boot and claimed back by Rourke Smith. The kick towards half forward, and again there's a foot race to claim the ball, and that foot race was won by Gleeson. Kicks to an empty 50. Ruben Williams his target. Getting back, did Blakey touch it?
Certainly did.
Minor score. Couldn't get it into that right spot for Ruben Williams to take the mark in the end. Another behind for Footscray, quickly brought in by Blakey towards the outer side. Kennedy goes up, can't bring it down. It falls out of play in front of the manual scoreboard here. It's sort of tucked away, you can barely see it. Showing us 4-2-26 to 6-13-49.
Just into time on second term. For Solo, running the wrong way. Handball smothered. Now they've got a problem. Garlett did well to get around a tackler, but he's kicked it out of bounds on the full. And it's going to be another chance for a shot at goal for Footscray. Sweets ball. Tucked up against the pocket. Just looking inboard. No options really presenting themselves though, so he's going to have to try it. Drop punt on its way. It looks pretty good, but just missing to the near side. He made a great fist of that, did Jordan Sweet, but not able to convert. Through for another minor score for Footscray. Leading it by 4 goals at the moment as Lang sends the kick in high and long towards the broadcast side. They're just having trouble clearing their back half at the moment as Hayes sends a beautiful ball inboard for Drummond. And he might just be within range.
He's just looking at his options, but I think he will go back and have a shot here.
Kicked 4 goals, 3 for the season in 3 games. Has Nathan Drummond, including 1 goal, 2 a couple of weeks ago against the Cats. This one has hit the post. Footscray having so many scoring shots, as you mentioned before, Hilly, but just not taking advantage. Their lead now out to 25 points.
Goddard has it. Hand pass off to Schumacher. Not a great kick. It's been cut off by Duray. Goes back inside 50. Nice little pass for Richards. It's on Footscray's terms at the moment.
I think they might have found the man to break this run of misses, although he's played on.
Not confident of the distance, he said. Richards gets a nice little pass off to Porter. Can they finally break this streak of what he's currently 4 straight behinds?
I think Ed Richards would have been no dramas with the distance. He was just looking to be a team player there on that occasion. He didn't need to. He just needed to go back and take the ownership himself. And it's a fantastic kick of the footy, Ed Richards. So not sure why he would have come off his line there.
Callum Porter going at 100%. 3 goals straight for the season. From 48 metres, right foot kicks on the way. Didn't look too confident off the boot, and he missed to the right. 6 goals, 16-52. It's a 4-2-26. They've doubled the Northern Blues on the scoreboard now, but only have 2 more goals to their name.
It's an epidemic at the moment for Footscray as Carlton again unable to win clean possession from their kick-in. Inside forward 50 goes Sullivan. Kavara landed heavily on his back. Now a chance for Gleeson. Gives a handball off. Up and under inside forward 50. Has it travelled 15? Good luck marking it anyway. It doesn't matter. Ball at ground level. Silvani scoops it out. Gives it off to his brother. He just hacks it out of there. In front of no one really. How does the umpire call this? Throw it in. So just a chance for the Blues to reset. They trail by 26 points. The ball hasn't been inside their forward half for the best part of 10 or 15 minutes now, and the Dogs just not able to make them pay. They keep missing as Smith gives it off. Now they're going to go inside 50 again off the boot of Drummond. Is it going to clear the pack? It does, but it's offline. Another behind. 6 goals, 17. 53 leads 4-2, 26. The kick in almost turned over. Garlett did well to recover. Couldn't find Lang though. Shaki got a crucial hand in there. Now a chance for Vjojo Rainbow. Gives it off to Shaki. Doesn't have any space to have the shot. Gives it out to Drummond. Paddling. Handball. Hayes. Now Roberts gets onto his left, but his kick is smothered. A little bit of time and space for Pruden. Gives it off to Hayes, and now across the ground he goes to Karmas.
Uku Karmas has it just behind the centre of the ground. Short little pass okay for Sweet. Thought about going to Richards, instead goes a little longer instead. That's okay, and mark's been taken by Riley West. Too far out to score though. He'll be asked to hurry up. The kick to the pocket was trying to pick out Scott. Bouncing ball picked up by Shaki. Good tackle, Kennedy. Stops a shot on goal, ball up in the forward pocket for Footscray. It's a remarkable quarter this, the scoring weren't. It's just tracking in a diagonal sort of direction. At the moment with all the behinds that Footscray put on the board. Haven't seen a goal in a while as the hand pass spits out to Coney. Interesting one for Fisher. Schumacher gets onto the preferred left. He's kicked down the line, not so good though. And the relieving mark has been taken for Footscray by Smith. Not allowed to pass in board. Wanted to give it to Vjojo Rainbow as a free kick, in fact. No mark for Smith, a free kick for Taylor Duray.
Underway at Windy Hill, boys. Essendon with the first goal of the afternoon through Mitch Brown. They lead it by that score after 4 minutes.
45-degree angle here for Taylor Duray. The man on the mark is Jack Silvani. He's getting fairly close to the mark. Is Duray. Kicks from the digits. Kicks on the way. That's what it took. A bit of class. An AFL premiership player in Taylor Duray finally kicks the 7th goal of the day for Footscray. 7-17. 59 to 4-2-26.
Have we got Taylor Duray's stats there, Adam?
We'll track those down for you in a moment. He's the second leading ball getter on the ground with 12.
I was about to say he's had an impact off half back, and the Blues, whilst they haven't gone forward much this quarter, he's certainly just been in the game. He's been pushing forward, and when the Blues do get it to that centre line, he's been one of those men roaming, collecting. And it was good to see him finish there.
They've put on 6 goals in this second term, the Dogs, but they've done it the hard way. 4 goals, 12 for the quarter as that bounce is recalled.
16 scoring shots in a quarter is an amazing stat. And we're 27 and a half minutes into this quarter. I still think we've got time for a few more minutes.
Kennedy's kick smothered off the boot. Footscray just voracious around the contest at the moment. Lang gets it going Northern Blues way, but for Solo's dragged down immediately by West. Might have been dragged down without it as going inside forward 50. There was Vjojo Rainbow. No mark comes. Punched out of there, but they're under immense pressure at the moment, the Blues. Footscray dominating the second term, and at half-time they lead at 7-17, 59 to Northern Blues, 4-2-26. One of the more remarkable quarters of footy you'll ever see, guys, but not necessarily for the right reasons. The Dogs putting on 4 goals, 12.
And 5 goals, 12 for the quarter. You would have thought that with 17 scoring shots, that quarter would go into the 30s. 28 minutes. Amazing.
Unbelievable stuff for the Bulldogs. We've got Ruben William with a couple of goals, and the rest are singles to West, Duray, Pruden, Sullivan, and Scott. And for the Northern Blues, it's one man doing all the damage up forward. Always has 3 of their 4 goals. Finbar O'Dwyer with the other in that first term.
Footscray kicked 4 goals, 12 in that second term. Just the one major, which I think was the first score of the quarter for the Northern Blues, and that was the 3rd goal of the day for Matt. Here's a couple of stat leaders before we take our halftime break here. We will be hearing from the 150 gamer in Willie Wheeler, currently at Williamstown, formerly at Coburg. One of our favourites here on VFL Live is W squared. A couple of stat leaders. We'll go with Footscray first, and it's actually a VFL listed player that's leading the way. It's Anthony Scott that has 13. Taylor Duray has 12. Will Hayes, Josh Shackey and Josh Wallace all have 10. For Footscray, for the Northern Blues, it's Fisher and Hugh Goddard both have 11. Alex Johnson and Matt Kennedy both have 10 for the Northern Blues. So we'll take a quick break here. We'll come back before we do hear from Willie Wheeler. It is Footscray 7-17-59 leading the Northern Blues 4-26. We'll take a break and have a listen to what Willie Wheeler had to say on the VFL hour earlier this week.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yeah! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality. Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work. Totally Workwear.
Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
Your hard yakka Totally Workwear VFL Club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL Club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coaches' huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
I'm a digital radio.
And I'm a digital TV. Now, you may remember when TV went digital.
Yes, and you got a lot more channels and a better picture.
Well, buying a digital radio is the same.
Exactly. I've got up to 30 extra radio stations, plus all your old faves, and I sound amazing.
Yeah, but I look amazing.
Yeah, but this is a radio ad, so no one can see you.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to hear this station like you have never heard it before,
buy a digital radio.
Head into your nearest retailer and upgrade to digital.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Jack Heverin, Tuesdays from 9 p.m. on 1116 SEN.
But it's your job. We'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Live on SEN2 DAB+.
Love your sport? Then you'll love SEN.
Looks to be the last game of the first set. Almagro leading 5-3.
And you'll find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport.
Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
Footscray is leading the Northern Blues here at Icon Park. Round 11 action in Hard Yakka. Totally Workwear VFL footy. 7 goals, 17-59. Footscray leading the Northern Blues 4-26. We're in the middle of the halftime break at the moment. Let's hear from Willie Wheeler playing game number 150 tomorrow against Port Melbourne for Williamstown. Started his VFL career with Coburg. These days he is a Seagull. He was on the VFL Hour on 1116 SEN earlier in the week. Let's have a listen to that conversation.
For Willie Wheeler, this is a big milestone that he's got coming up this weekend. Game number 150 and he joins us to talk more about it. Willie, good evening.
G'day, mate. How you going?
Hey, good. I just want to take care of a bit of housekeeping first, because we always encourage people to text in, and someone has texted in saying, can you ask Willie Wheeler about his golf game? I've heard he's close to a scratch marker. Is that correct?
I think someone might be taking the mickey there. Maybe if I counted my own shots, I might be scratched. But, nah, nowhere near that.
You would be surprised how often we have players on and someone stitching them up, Willie, on the text. It happens weekly, so that's why I just like to check these things rather than go with it. Hey, great milestone. Congratulations. What does it mean to you, 150 games? They don't come around every day, these sorts of milestones.
Yeah, no, I suppose you're right. I haven't sort of thought about it too much. It sort of has gone quick in a sense, probably has at times felt like a long career and then a short career in the other sense. But I haven't thought about it too much. I sort of just go week to week and just trying to keep the body right lately. So, which has come around 150, which I suppose is nice.
And you've really, I mean, obviously 150 games and life member at Williamstown now. It's your home, basically.
Yeah, well, it has turned into that way. I sort of come down and spent my first few years at Coburg and then made the move across, and sort of the fellas at the club and the community of the club, it's a pretty hard spot to leave.
When you came down originally from the Bushies, did you have a plan? Was it going to be just a wait and see what happened? Did you think that you might stay at the VFL for a couple of years and then maybe go back? Just step us through what that was like.
Yeah, I definitely had that goal of trying to be drafted, and sort of thought that Coburg, they were training at Craigieburn at the time, and I was still working as a plumber back in Avenel, so I could sort of drive that hour down to training and sort of see where it went from there. I was going to give it a crack for 4 or 5 years, and I had a bit of a thought that I might head over to WA or head back to the country. I'm a pretty sort of country guy, but as soon as I come down, I enjoy playing the high standard of footy that the VFL brings, and sort of the challenge you get week to week. And obviously the draft goal that it was back then didn't happen, but just learnt that there's a lot of good fellas who have the same challenges of going to work and having a crack against great opposition. It's been a lot of fun to enjoy.
Take us through last year, Willie, if you can. It's never easy when a player carries an injury with them for most of the year, and you mentioned getting the body right. Last year you had some groin issues that were hampering you and no doubt, I'm guessing, frustrating you at times as well? Yeah, no, it was. I've sort of had a couple of maybe impact injuries with a few torn pec and stuff like that, but the OP, I don't really get out at over 80% too often, so I don't normally get too many soft tissue injuries or stuff like that, so I didn't think that it'd sort of hang around like it did, but it was a real nuisance last year, and I eventually went up to Donald to see Pat Allen, who's pretty well known to the OP, and he worked wonders, really, so it's fighting fit at the minute. And from what I can tell, no lingering issues. You're back up finding the footy, averaging 21 disposals this year, and your movement's back too. Yeah, the body has been feeling a lot healthier. The form's a bit up and down, I suppose, even with the teams a bit similar, but we've taken a bit to get used to after a few of the fellas getting drafted and stuff like that, but so it's nice to have a good win on the weekend and sort of get a kick, I suppose. We've got to roll with these questions off the text, Willie, as they're coming through, because I think you've got a couple of fans. Someone wants to know, who's the better cricketer for Avenel, you or your brother Harry? No, I think if anyone's seen us, they'll know the answer to that. And the secondary part to that was, ask Willie who's the better cricketer, him, Harry, or Avenel coach Casey Duncan? There's a few blokes carrying on here. Yeah, you're getting stitched up big time. Willie Wheeler joining us from Williamstown ahead of game number 150. What's been the highlight for you, Willie, in your time in the VFL? I mean, it's a great honour role that you've got. You've got best and fairest. I mentioned life member. You've represented the VFL. What's been the biggest highlight in your mind? Obviously, the premiership in 2015 stands out with a great bunch of guys, and we were standalone and a club on ourselves. So that was a great thing to achieve. And but really, besides, they're just the people that you meet through the club and the quality people that you do meet that sort of, I guess, spend 4 or 5 years at VFL clubs when, you do have to have decent qualities to sort of hang around, I think, because there is a lot of local attention, I suppose.
money or whatever it is, or less training loads and stuff like that. But so I think you do meet quality people, and that's probably the highlight, being able to come out the back of it with a lot of quality mateships.
Let's go back to last weekend. It was an impressive victory over North Melbourne, 53 points, 16 goals after quarter time. It was an avalanche.
Yeah, no, it was. We really needed that. We've sort of, like I said before, been up and down and probably struggling to score a little bit. I think we've had a crack in games. Like, I think Box Hill we lost. I still felt like we had a crack, and our backs have been playing great footy this year. And Rodder coming back definitely helped us a lot on the weekend.
This weekend is a major one. It's going to be a terrific game. It's the broadcast game on Channel 7 as well, against Port Melbourne, top 4 clash. It's an opposition that you know very, very well. They're always good contests when you two come up against each other.
Yeah, they've been a lot of fun over the years, really. You sort of, no matter how we're going or what sort of form it is, there's always a fair bit on the plate when you're playing Port. Obviously a lot of history, and probably been added to it with, Dill Conway and Jozza heading over there. But, they're a great bunch. They are a good bunch of guys, but on the field you like to hate them. But so it's always a challenge, and sort of look forward to playing in that Port as well. It sort of makes for a scrappy contest, which we enjoy.
Willie, good luck. Thanks for the chat tonight, and well done on being a scratch golfer as well. That's a wonderful achievement.
Yeah, one day I'll get there.
But in all seriousness, it is a great milestone to pass up 150 games. So good luck. I hope you find plenty of the footy on the weekend, and thanks for a chat tonight.
No worries, mate. Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Willie Wheeler from Williamstown joining us, and that game is the Channel 7 game that you will see on Sunday afternoon when they take on Port Melbourne. Could be one of the best games of the season, this one. It'll be physical. It'll be very skillful at the same time. It's going to be an absolute cracker. So if you had a bit of a loose end on Sunday, get down there and check it out. Or if you can't get there, then watch it on TV, because it'll be well and truly worth it.
Big thank you there to Jack Heverin having a chat to Willie Wheeler, playing game number 150 against Port Melbourne. Tomorrow you can watch that game on Channel 7 from 2 o'clock with Jason Bennett. Our old friends here on VFL Live, Nigel Carmody and Campbell Brown. Here it is Footscray leading the Northern Blues 7-17-59. It's a remarkable scoreline for the Dogs here today at Icon Park. The Northern Blues are 4-26. The third term is not too far away. We'll take another break here on Hardjacker Totally Workwear VFL Live on SEN2 and the live stream if you're watching us on vfl.com.au. We'll take another break here and now, and then come back with the second half. After this, it is the Dogs at the moment by 33 points.
Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yes! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality? Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work. Totally Workwear.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hardjacker Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Jack Heverin, Tuesdays from 9 p.m. on 1116 SEN.
But it's your job. You'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL, live on SEN2 DAB+.
I'm a digital radio. To help explain why it's time to update your old radio, with me is my friend Digital TV.
Hi.
There you go.
Remember when us TVs went digital?
Everyone does. Get to the point.
Suddenly you got lots more channels for free.
Yes.
Well, it's the same with digital radio.
When you buy a digital radio, you can get all your favourite stations plus up to 30 extra ones, playing all kinds of music, live sport and talk.
That's pretty great.
It's really great.
All you have to do is head into your nearest retailer
or check out digitalradioplus.com.au
and upgrade to digital.
Your Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL Club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coaches' huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
Love your sport? Then you'll love SEN.
Stuart Appleby has come from 7 strokes behind
And you'll
us.
find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport.
Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
Second half about to get underway here at Icon Park. It is Footscray 7-17-59 leading the Northern Blues 4-26. Adam Sarikoglu, Michael Peppercelli up here in the commentary box, and Glenn Hill is our man boundary side today. We'll hear from Hilly shortly, but Michael has put the headset back on. It was a wonderful second term by Footscray, and they didn't really make the most of their opportunities. It was a remarkable second term from a scoring point of view.
Yeah, that's right, Adam. It was a strange old quarter. Not too sure we'll see many like it. If you watch a lot of footy, 4 goals, 12 they kicked in that second term, and there was a period of about almost 15, 20 minutes, I would say, where the ball was just locked inside Footscray's forward half of the ground. They kept kicking behind, the Blues kept kicking in, couldn't clear it, and we just had a real stalemate before Taylor Duray eventually kicked a lovely goal from around 50 metres out, just as the Northern Blues make their way back onto the field. I'm sure Josh Fraser would be telling his team that, in a way, they're pretty lucky, because to give up 16 scoring shots in a quarter of footy and to be down by 33 points, things could be a lot worse. So they'd love to get the first couple of this third quarter just to let the Dogs know that they're not going away, but they need to find another avenue to goal other than Matt Owies. He's got 3 out of their 4 goals, and none of the other forwards, Paddy Kerr or Fasolo or anyone else, has really looked like troubling the scorers today.
Well, the leading 2 disposal getters on the ground are Anthony Scott and Taylor Duray. They've got 25 between them, and it goes all the way down to Sam Fisher, who has 11 alongside Hugh Goddard. Footscray, it's a very long siren there. The Footscray Football Club are winning the midfield battle, and therefore much more delivery is coming inside 50 for the Bulldogs. We look at the inside 50 count for today is 39-12. That is a big discrepancy in that particular stat. Both sides are back out on the park as we re-welcome Glenn Hill, who is boundary side. Hilly, still pretty good conditions. It's a fairly good day for footy. Just get an update on the conditions and get your thoughts on how the Northern Blues work their way back into the contest.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Josh Fraser would be really disappointed with that quarter of footy. They just didn't put enough pressure on, didn't get the ascendancy in the midfield, and the only way for them back at the moment is to start winning the ball at the cold face. They need to win the ball at the centre, work their opponents through that midfield and create opportunities forward, and they certainly can't give away the amount of inside 50s that they've given away so far to Footscray, and the scoreboard pressure will just keep mounting up. So the Blues certainly need to win that midfield battle and then work their system, work their forward system out, because it's just not working for them at the moment.
All clean on an injury front as well. 5 interchange starters for both sides.
Yes, no dramas injury-wise today.
Andrew Phillips will start in the ruck. Loby's on the bench doing some run-throughs as we speak, actually. Just We're testing out some agility, but does seem to be okay. Does Matt Lobe. Sweet will take on Phillips in the ruck to start this second half. It's advantage Footscray, leading by 33 points.
Northern Blues desperately need to respond in this third term, and they'll win the first centre clearance as Lang, left foot, hacked ball towards half forward. Leading in the race for it was Pruden, met solidly by Phillips. Ball spills free. Silvani in there trying to burrow it forward. Wins it himself, but was tackled. Still a chance for the Northern Blues here. Shoveled back out towards Blakey, and he sends it inside 50, but always outnumbered in that situation, the Blues. And Young able to take the mark for Footscray. Ball out wide, Drummond leading to it, but just had it bounce off his hands. Now a chance for Hayes. Little chip up the line, punched away by Phillips over the boundary line. 33-point ball game. Positive start for the Northern Blues, getting the first inside 50 and able to retain it in their forward half for the moment as Kennedy overran it. Now West is set upon by Silvani and will get another stoppage. About a kick and a half from the Northern Blues goal. They're kicking towards the eastern end of the ground in this third term. Silvani shovels it out to Lang. Another hurried ball inside forward 50. Fasolo waited for the bounce and gathered it nicely. Gives it off to Palmer, who's being quiet. Sends it to the hot spot. Young got hands to it for Footscray. Now a chance for Owies. Was he dragged down without it?
Certainly
yes.
Was.
So a chance for the Dream start here, and Owies can go back and kick his fourth.
And the way he's been executing, you'd have to say, he's not a certainty because he's only kicking from 40 out, but give him absolutely every chance from here, the way he's been playing today.
As you said, he'll kick from about 40 metres out. No angle to speak of. And he could double his number of goals for the season with number 4 this afternoon. It's dead straight. And the Northern Blues get the much-needed first goal of the third term. They move to 5-2-32, trailing Footscray by 27 points.
Yes, that was the one they needed, just to get some sort of confidence back in their game. And as I said earlier, they need to win the midfield. So an important part of that equation is winning the ruck. And great first use from Phillips to start the quarter, and hopefully for the Northern Blues angle, they might be able to get themselves back into this contest.
Thoughts of Glen Hill boundary side. Matt Owies has now kicked the first goal of all 3 quarters so far today. Odds on to get the first of the last. Some run-throughs, by the way, on the Footscray sideline for Buku Karmas to potentially keep an eye on for Glen Hill as play does restart in the middle of Icon Park. Phillips' kick only went as far as Duray. Wins it back for the Dogs. His kick toward the outer side. Drummond tried to get the tap on. Schumacher had it bounce away from him. Picked up by Cottrell. Schumacher has to get away from the tackle. O'Rourke came in to help. Now the little kick underground. Jack Silvani, that's not going to work out. Attacked back up towards half forward by Pruden. And the mark is taken by Shaki. One lead on offer inside 50. That's provided by Jared Gleeson. Went the shorter option instead. And the mark is taken by Richards. The mark is right on 50. On the 0 of the 5-0. Painted on that outer side.
We were talking about his range in the previous quarter, and I think maybe might be just tested this time. From 50, not a problem. From 60, a problem.
The left foot ball. It's going to land in the hot spot. Sweet went up, didn't bring it down, and then out the last line of defence there, receiving it from Johnson was Gull. It goes out of play. Boundary throw in. Left forward pocket for the Bulldogs. Managed to kick clear with the final 3 goals of the second term. A number of behinds. They scored 12 behinds in that second term as the umpire brings this one back in. Bit of jumper pulling there from Phillips. It was one down. Scott kicked for Gleeson. No mark was taken. Ben Silvani was involved. Lang gets it out to Kennedy. Clears defensive 50. The kick's not going to get anywhere near Patrick Kerr. It goes out of bounds. Boundary throw-in. Right at left half forward for Footscray. Ball spins back into play. Phillips got front position over Sweet that time. Lang, right foot ball. It's a very high one for Solos underneath. Crashing the pack there was Lewis Young. Now Lockie Young gets his kick towards half forward. That's good. And the mark has been taken out there by Nathan Drummond. Right on centre wing. Drummond asked to hurry up by the umpire. Goes towards half forward. Ball slipped through a couple of hands. William out the back does well. Hand pass to Guevara. Neat little pass for Hayes. No mark taken. Still a chance for the Dogs. Crashing through Porter. Nice tackle on him by Alex Johnson. And it's a ball up at the hot spot. No, it's a free kick, in fact. Holding the ball, and well done by the former Swan.
He's had a good game today, has Alex Johnson. Just finding a little bit more confidence in his body. Great to see him out there, as we said. Finds Schumacher in the left back pocket. Sends it long up the line. De Koning has to fly, but outpointed by Young.
He pushed out there, but no free kick.
You had perhaps a better view of that one than the umpire, Hilly, as Young just sends it to the top of 50. Shaki came up to meet it, but couldn't bring it down. Now Silvani's wrapped up immediately, and we'll get a stoppage. So a 27-point lead for Footscray. 6.5 minutes into this third term as Hayes, ball into the pocket. Drummond got a hand to it, but now McCready rebounding for the Northern Blues. Kick just stays in, and the mark taken by O'Dwyer. Spots an option he likes further afield. That's De Koning, but again, Young out-bodying him and taking the mark despite being at a size disadvantage. Eventually called to move it on is Lewis Young. Has Shaki one-on-one. Outpointed there by Johnson and turned it over again, the Northern Blues. The mark taken by Scott. Equal leading disposal winner on the ground. That kick is just into space, looking for William to run onto it, which he does, but he's dragged down and he didn't get a clean handball away. Great defending by the Northern Blues. They'll have a free kick between half-back and wing.
To be taken by Mason Blakey. Goes backward. Schumacher. The switch is on. Ben Silvani will be next in the chain. He takes the mark and goes towards centre wing. O'Dwyer. Plenty of space here for the Blues at the moment. Nice little neat kick in board for Phillips. Hand pass off. Kennedy had to get the hand pass going. Good pressure though from Riley West. He snatches it back for Footscray, and then Phillips wraps him up in the tackle. Good footy all round, ball up inside the centre square.
Great play from Phillips, locking that one up, because the Dogs were away if they could have broken free there.
Defensively, very good stuff from young Riley West. The father's son pick. Scott's boy goes inside 50, does Silvani. He's Steve's boy. Goes out of play. No, it bounced back and does stay in the end. And it's claimed by Lewis Young. Kicks toward the outer side. A very nice ball as well. The mark is taken by Shaki. Kicking forward. That's okay. They keep it moving. Porter. We're inside 50. Richards, was he held on to? No. William brought down straight away by Blake. He did very well to win it back. The tap on to Lang was very good. O'Rourke has it. Left half back. Kick toward half forward. Not a great ball. Kick to kick in a moment. Lewis Young. He'll switch for Shaki.
Having a big third term is Lewis Young. 3 intercept marks already. As Pruden takes the mark just inside the centre square. Dangerous ball. Marked there by Viojo Rainbow. And they're going forward off the boot of Wallace towards half forward. Good mark taken by Riley West. Has Sweet calling for it on 50. Goes to him. Had time to fumble. And now the big fella can run to 40 and slam it home. Poetry in slow motion by Jordan Sweet. Extends the Bulldogs' lead to 33 points. That was the halftime margin. 8-17-65 now. Northern Blues 5-2-32.
Jordan Sweet, that's his 4th goal of the season. That was a very important steadier for Footscray after Matt Owies kicked the first goal of the quarter. 10 minutes in now, 33 points, as Michael said. That was our halftime margin. As we wait for the starting positions to fall into place for both sides. Umpire Luke Porter looks inside both 50s. We're good to go. Shallow bounce. It favoured Phillips. It wasn't recalled. Don't think it needed to be anyway, but Lang, a little kick around the corner. Did that go 15? It did. Mark taken by Brazier. Interesting handball. They do get it inside 50. Duray fell over as he tried to take the mark. Now it's Jack Silvani. Did well to extract it. The long-range handball for the boys. Tried to play some basketball and keep it alive. Now to Koning. He overruns it. Hot ball to win here. Richards got the hand pass out. They have cleared 50, but it's coming back in. The mark is taken by Cottrell. Gets back onto the right foot. Helicopter inside 50. No mark taken. Kerr came one out. To Koning. Jack Silvani. Right foot snap. Blew on the line anyway, but it goes through. Jack Silvani kicks another one for the Northern Blues as they look to try and mount a comeback. 6-2-38 to 8-17-65.
Yeah, much needed reply there, and they delivered it swiftly, the Blues. So they're just hanging in there in this game. Good to see Jack Silvani hitting the scoreboard too. Good for his confidence.
As Glenn Hill said, the Northern Blues just hanging in there for the moment. That margin now back to 27 points. And if they can remain accurate here, the Blues, they might just be able to work their way back into it. 25 scoring shots to 8 in favour of the Bulldogs, but the Northern Blues doing just enough to remain within reaching distance. Back in the middle. Neither ruckman got a hand on it. I think Sweet might have copped a little bit of a falcon, but ball not going anywhere at ground level. Ball up just inside the centre circles. Travelled 12 minutes now in this third term, I should say. Silvani, hurried kick forward, intercepted by Virjo Rainbow. Goes to the other side of the ground, and good strong hands out in front by Shaki. Liked his game today. Hasn't gotten the reward on the scoreboard, but has presented up the ground a number of times.
14 touches now for Shaki.
Finds Duray and now Karmas.
This must be a directive to show a lot of patience here while they work the ball forward.
Every Northern Blues player in their defensive half of the ground, so Karmas has to just whack it long and hope for the best. Goddard had it bounce through his hands. The boys laid a strong bump there on his opponent, but the Dogs able to win the footy at ground level. Porter sends it to the hot spot, and always in the best position was Ben Kavara.
Yeah, that's a disappointing result there for the Blues with all those numbers back. Smallest player in the Footscray forward line takes a contested aerial mark. Very disappointing from the Blues.
That's right, Hilly. Only 172 centimetres, and you don't want someone like that marking a long high ball inside forward 50, but that's what's happened. As Kavara comes in, first game since round 5, he comes in and just sneaks it home. Margin back out to 33 points. Kavara has his first.
He's got a big pats on the back there from his teammates, and they're obviously excited to see him back out there, and we are excited to see him back out in the VFL. He's been such a sensational player in the VFL in the last few years, and obviously he's got his chance on an AFL list now with the Dogs, and hoping that he can string some form together. He might be able to get his chance later in the year.
Round of grounds at Windsor Hill. Essendon 4-3-27 leading Box Hill 4-2-26. That game is running an hour behind ours. And that is early in the second term. The Bombers leading the Hawks by a point. The only other game taking place around the grounds earlier. It was a big win for Richmond over Coburg by 84 points at Beaconsfield. We're back live here. The ball socket towards half forward. It's been a goal for goal third term so far. Duray Another touch for him. Little left foot ball over the top. Interesting. No mark was taken. Ground level. Trusler receives the handball. Releases Hayes in toward the middle of Icon Park. A nice ball. Mark taken by Richards. Alex Fasolo on the mark. In the centre circles. Gave off the handball. Now it's inside 50. Overrun by Kavara. Hacked toward the line. Bouncing ball. Who wants it? Prudent. Hand pass inboard. Just slipped over there to Karmas, but Scott had it. Goes inboard. That's okay. Sullivan looking to get the switch. Not a great ball from McComb, and in the hole was McCready for the Northern Blues.
He looked at McCready and said, "You play for the Dogs," and kicked it straight to him.
Just on the top of 50 here, Kavara gets another touch. Eventually does gather the ball. Just might have been off balance as he got the hand pass out to Scott. Gets it back. Kavara, left foot, inside 50. And going for the mark, not quite taking it off the ground. Was it Hayes? That might be a goal. Hayes with the poise at ground level, socket it through. Another goal for Footscray. That was a great finish by Will Hayes.
Yeah, very savvy goal from Will Hayes, and he's another player who's had his chance at AFL level this season, and been a great player in the VFL for some time. So he's another player who's looking to string some good form together, get his way back into the seniors. Just noticed that his dad also, David Hayes, famous racehorse trainer, is on board today watching, as he always does, watch his son Will play his sports, and in particular his footy.
Twin brother James also named for this contest, but wasn't in the final 23. Hasn't played a game yet at VFL level this year as James Hayes, but he'll be looking to play alongside his brother perhaps later on in the season. Back in the middle. West pushed in the back.
Certainly was good umpiring.
Obvious free kick, and in fact it was Wallace. Gives it off to Duray, and now Richards. He wasn't pushed in the back and needs to get rid of it, and does, but it was all Northern Blues around the footy. Chance now, but just untidy at the moment, the Northern Blues, and that passage of play comes to a stop with a ball up for Solo over the top of it on that occasion.
Just getting beaten soundly at the fall of the ball. That's where the Blues have really let themselves down in this game. The Dogs are just winning the contested possession, the fall of the ball way too easily.
Cottrell just slams it forward and hopes for the best, and free kick to Brazier, not a bad result. 18 minutes gone, third term. Brazier gives the handball off quickly to Fasolo, but he wasn't on his mark. He needs to go back and do it all again, which allows the Footscray defenders to get back in numbers.
It's a real lull in this contest at the moment. It's nearly probably a goal away from being out of Carlton, out of Northern Blues' reach, but let's see if they can get one here.
High ball inside 50. Everyone flew, but it beat them all. Silvani shins it through for a behind.
Could have matched the efforts of Will Hayes at the other end off the ground there, did Jack Silvani. So it's 10-17, 77 Footscray leading the Northern Blues 6-3-39. Margin currently 38 points, no 15 from the kick in for Roberts. So Pruden had to get on with it, went for McComb on the outer side and found it. Robbie McComb. All right, football towards centre wing, looking for Rourke Smith. Cottrell got a nice fly, only got a hand on it in the end. Goddard for Solo, now Brazier. Had to go in board for Darcy Lang, who had to sit and wait. Finally able to get it inside 50. Jack Silvani is backing back and takes a great contested mark.
What a grab.
Two Bulldogs go down. One of them is Taylor Duray, and Jack Silvani is not getting up. He's hurt himself in that marking contest. It was a really brave mark. He's slowly trying to get up now.
I think it was a real clash of heads too.
See if we can get a replay if you're watching us on VFL.com.au.
With players coming back with the flight, he's under the ball, players coming across the top of him. It was an amazing grab.
Getting another look at it now for our viewers. Back, 3 Bulldogs in the contest. It got crunched. It was De Koning coming in from the side. Might have been friendly fire.
He is up on his feet.
It was Tom De Koning that came along and just collected Jack Silvani. Good news is he will take his shot. To reduce the margin back down to 32 points for his second goal of the quarter. Jack Silvani, 35 metres, no real angle to deal with, and he pokes it through. They're staying in at the Blues. 7-3-45 to 10-17, 77. We're into time on of the third term.
Got that funny feeling with this ground that the scoring end seems to always be the left-hand side. It doesn't matter if there's a breeze or no breeze. There just seems to be more goals kicked to the left-hand side. And even when I think back to many, many days ago, back in the 90s, when you'd come here and watch an AFL contest, whether it be Carlton or Fitzroy, there just seemed to be a lot of goals kicked to the left of screen. And,
the Western Bulldogs scored this ground home as well once upon a time.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. So, and at the other end, it just seemed so hard to kick goals at the what was the Heatley stand in.
Jack Silvani has really lifted in this third term. He's up to 15 disposals, 7 tackles, and now 2 goals, 1, all kicked in this third term as the Blues win another centre clearance. Kennedy met solidly at the ball by Viojo Rainbow, and the latter won the footy. Gave the handball off to Drummond, but sold him into trouble. Free kick goes Garlett's way. Wastes no time in getting a handball off to Lang, and now always has it a long way from home. Kick in towards forward 50. Kennedy was the target, but couldn't bring it down, and now the Dogs able to repel as Smith finds Drummond on the outer wing. One way then the other, but then brings it back in board for Kavara. He wastes no time in getting it off to West. The big ruckman almost chases him down, affected the kick, and now the Blues can clear through McCready.
In toward the middle of Icon Park, 1-on-1. Height advantage there for Lobe, but at the back was Hayes. Diving effort, almost a slips catch for West. Back to Hayes. Threw the ball out, did Riley West. Free kick for the Northern Blues, just in front of true centre-half back. It's going to be claimed by Matt Kennedy. He's the captain today in the ongoing absence of Tom Wilson. Right football, we are inside 50. Going up, no mark for Kerr. Nice tackle, Jack Silvani. Well, he's having an impact up forward in this third term for the Blues. A ball up at 50.
Around the grounds, Essendon leading Box Hill by a point.
Our game in the early time slot today of a 1 o'clock start time. That game at Windsor Hill kicked off an hour later. So by the time we're done here today, that game will still be in progress on air on SEN2 until 3:50. There's a free kick advantage paid. Lang inside 50. Owens takes the mark for the Blues. Can kick his 5th of the day. Directly in front and will kick from about 40.
And this would be his first bag of 5 in the VFL.
As Michael said earlier, he's already doubled his goal kicking tally for the year. Had 4 coming in to today's game and has 4 for today. Has kicked, as I said, the first goal of every quarter so far. Owies to reduce the margin to 26. Kicks on the way, does the job.
Wow.
5 goals for the former basketballer. And the Blues are back within 26 points. 8-3-51. They've been super accurate. The super inaccurate Footscray 10-17-77.
And they've marginally had the better of this quarter. Let's just see if they can make things interesting here. It's hard to say how much time we've got left. We had 17 scoring shots in the previous quarter. It only went 28 minutes. We've had a lot less in terms of scoring shots this quarter. We're just ticking over 24 and a half minutes.
Bulldogs have kicked 3 straight in this third term so far, Hilly.
So I think, if I count that up correctly, I'd say we're in for a short quarter. So let's see if I'm proven wrong.
It was a short quarter, the second quarter. We are 24 and a half minutes into this third.
For as good as the Blues have been in this third term, they haven't been able to put all that much of a dent in that halftime margin of 33 points. It's down to 26. I'd love to get another 1 or 2 goals before 3-quarter time, but Clearance goes the Bulldogs' way as Sullivan sends it inside 50, but good defensive mark taken by Blakey. Releases Cottrell with the handball. Kennedy had to stand and wait for that kick, but it got to him in time. McCready brings it out wide for Brazier. Another Blue who's lifted in this third term. Has short leads coming, but instead elects to go further afield. For Solo contesting against a couple of Bulldogs defenders in the air, and happy to see it out of bounds. 10-17 plays 8-3 at Icon Park. Late stages of the third term. Sweet worked his way to the front position and won it down, and then followed up his work as well. Doesn't look like the ball is coming out. The umpire's letting it go. Eventually, umpire Luke Porter calls for it. This all taking place between wing and half forward for the Northern Blues. Just overrunning it on that occasion there was O'Rourke, and eventually the umpire calls for it once again. 77-51. It's a 26-point lead for Footscray. If they can win this afternoon, they'll be in the top 4 tonight. As Duray pulled off his handball, perhaps now a chance for the Northern Blues as the handball goes inside forward 50. Pruden needs to be careful not to dive on top, and he was. Karmas tried to give it off, but he was under immense pressure. They've forced the turnover here, the Blues. They just need to get boot to ball, but they can't at the moment. O'Dwyer's in there, and plenty of numbers around it. The Dogs defending grimly, and eventually Kavara's legged, and he'll take the free kick on the last line of defence.
In the left back pocket here for Footscray. Margin is 26 points as we speak. It was 33 at halftime, only 3 at quarter time. As Hillick said, legend stand end of the ground is the scoring end today. So the Blues are running out of time as they look to make use of that left of screen side of the ground. That's not a great kick. It's cut off, and the mark has been taken by Drummond on the outer side for Footscray. Right foot ball. Just beyond centre wing is the landing spot going up Cottrell. Couldn't take the mark. Leeson affected the contest. It spills out of play. Boundary throw in. 1 point game between the Bombers and Box Hill around the ground halfway into the second term. At Windsor Hill earlier today at Beaconsfield. 18-15, 123. Richmond were too good for Coburg. Now to 3 games taking place in the Hardjacker Totally Workwear VFL today. Earlier this afternoon here at Icon Park, Carlton got a good win over Western Bulldogs by 16 points. Round 6 action in the VFLW as Rourke Smith collects this one just on the outskirts of 50. Hand pass back. Ben Kennedy there. There is a whistle. Free kick going the Northern Blues way. It's going to be taken by Cottrell. Right foot ball toward the outer wing. It's kick to kick at the moment. Duray takes this intercept mark for Footscray. It's very confusing, Michael, when the previous game, 2 teams in the exact same jumpers were Carlton and the Western Bulldogs. Now we've got Footscray and the Northern Blues. We go inside 50 for Footscray. Bouncing ball. Picked up Trasler, the 23rd man. A wobbly left foot shot bounces across an empty goal square and through for a minor score. First blemish of the quarter for Footscray. 10-18 playing 8-3 as Garlett runs out of the square. The kick is looking for Alex Johnson. He takes the mark in front of Will Hayes.
Has it just inside defensive 50 to Johnson, and he'll get a 50-metre penalty as well because Hayes encroached on the mark. Needs to be careful here not to give away 100, and just got out of the way. I tell you what, I think he might have been lucky there as Fisher can send it to the top of the square. Lobe, no mark contact. And no free kick for front on contact. Wow. Given away by Ben Kavara.
That's amazing.
Perhaps a little fortunate there, the Dogs, as it's rushed through for a minor score.
Kavara did extremely well to get back, but he certainly made front on contact in that contest. So Umpire didn't see it that way, though.
Margin back to 25 points. The Dogs have turned it over in the middle of the ground. Goddard gives it back to O'Rourke, and now Cottrell has it on the outer wing, called to go, and had Richards coming at him, and he's able to effect the turnover. Great defensive play from the young star, but the three-quarter time siren beats that Footscray foray forward, and at three-quarter time here at Icon Park, it's Footscray leading at 10-18-78 to the Northern Blues, 8-3-51. An entertaining quarter, but the Blues not quite able to inflict as much damage on the scoreboard as they might have liked. We'll take a short break. And
well, just hold on. Glenn Hill, can you confirm the score for us? Because we're getting different ones on the app and all sorts of stuff. What's it showing here?
So it's Northern Blues are 8-4-52 and Footscray are 10-18-78.
Yeah, so that's what the VFL app is showing as well. So at three-quarter time, it is a 26-point lead for Footscray. Before we do take that break, Michael, let's very quickly look at some of the stat leaders. We'll go with the leading Bulldogs first. Taylor Duray is up to 19. Anthony Scott has 17. Will Hayes on 15. And then 14 each for Josh Shackey, Dylan Viojo, Rainbow, and Josh Wallace for the Northern Blues. 19 for Matt Kennedy and Darcy Lang. Having a very good day is Darcy Lang. Sam Fisher has 18. Jack Silvani on 15. And Mason Blakey has 14. So, scene is set for a big final term. It's Footscray leading it by 26 points at the moment. 10-18-78. Northern Blues 8-4-52. We'll take our three-quarter time break and have the final term right after this. It is Footscray currently leading by 26.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men. Some are ladies. Yes! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality. Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work.
Totally Workwear. Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
Your hard yakka Totally Workwear VFL Club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL Club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coaches' huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
I'm a digital radio.
And I'm a digital TV. Now, you may remember when TV went digital.
Yes, and you got a lot more channels and a better picture.
Well, buying a digital radio is the same.
Exactly. I've got up to 30 extra radio stations, plus all your old faves, and I sound amazing.
Yeah, but I look amazing.
Yeah, but this is a radio ad, so no one can see you.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to hear this station like you have never heard it before,
buy a digital radio.
Head into your nearest retailer and upgrade to digital.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Jack Heverin, Tuesdays from 9 p.m. on 1116 SEN.
But it's your job. We'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Live on SEN2 DAB+.
Love your sport? then you'll love SEN.
Looks to be the last game of the first set. Almagro leading 5-3.
And you'll find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport.
Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
Three-quarter time here at Icon Park. It is Footscray 10-18-78 leading the Northern Blues 8-4-52. Adam Sarri-Coglu and Michael Pepicelli up here in the commentary box. Glenn Hill is in the huddles as we speak, listening to Daniel Giansyracusa. I think he's listening to the Footscray coach. He might be in the Northern Blues huddle. But both teams are still in there at the moment. Michael, it's still on Footscray's terms, but some promising signs for the Blues in that third term, and maybe they are capable of putting something together in the final term to get back into it.
Yeah, that's right, Adam. They did have what has been the scoring end in that third term. They kicked the 4 goals to 3, able to put a slight dent in that margin, perhaps not enough as they might have liked. Back to 26 points. Look, as you said, the Dogs did have it on their terms for the majority of that quarter, but look, the Northern Blues have shown some signs, but I think just what we're seeing today is a team that looks like it's going to finish in the top 4 against a team that'll be looking to finish anywhere in that 6 to 10 kind of range. The Dogs just outclassing them a little bit this afternoon.
Glenn Hill, have we got you at the moment?
Yes, boys, just came out of the Blues huddle, and certainly a lot of belief amongst the players, and Josh Fraser gave them a fair rev up and inspirational speech to help try and lift them in this final term.
So all the spectators are now making their way off the ground. I hope there's no drama like there was at the start of the second term with the young fella who was seemingly displaced from Dad, but Dad did find him, and play did finally start in that second term as we wait for these spectators to make their way off the ground. Since quarter time, it's been Footscray in control. They kicked a remarkable 4 goals, 12 in the second term, kicking toward the legend stand end of the ground. Hilly, I'm assuming there's still no wind advantage out there today. It's still the quote-unquote perfect day for football out there.
Yes, it certainly is perfect conditions still at ground level, and no excuses either way.
Thought you were going to tee up an interview with us there, Hilly, for a moment there, but all set to go for the final term. Matt Owens has kicked the first goal in all 3 quarters so far today. And he is inside 50 as we wait for the last of the spectators to make their way off the grounds, and we'll get this final term underway. The sun's just threatening to break through the clouds here on what's been an overcast day so far at Icon Park, as the umpire's just, I don't know what he's waiting for now. I think all the spectators have made their way off the ground, so finally holds the ball aloft. It's Footscray by 26 points. Here's Michael Pepicelli.
They need to find another avenue to goal to the Blues if they're going to cause the upset in this one, as Kennedy dishes it out to Silvani, looking for the man, Matt Owies, who's kicked all the goals this afternoon. Couldn't take the mark on that occasion. Beaten to it by Pruden, and now Lockie Young, but he was taken down as he got the handball away. A chance here for the Blues. Silvani dishes it out. Cruel bounce though for Owies. Had to go in and lay the tackle instead of taking possession, and we'll get a stoppage. Left half forward for the Blues. Trail it by 26 points. 78 plays 52. Hayes pulled off his kick at the crucial moment. And inside 50 go the Blues off the boot of Kennedy. Phillips was there to create a contest, couldn't bring in the mark. Now Drummond has to dish it off quickly and does, but the forward pressure by the Blues was excellent, and Silvani will have the free kick just outside 50. Doesn't want to have a shot because he's spotted for Solo. Couldn't take the mark. Now at ground level, Palmer's been quiet today, but that kick was excellent. Not 15 though. Always had to give it off to Fasolo, and his snap cannoned into the post. Geez, not sure about that. I thought it might have been 15, but Margin back to 25 points now.
Roberts will come to this near side of the ground. It's a high ball. Couple flew at it. No mark taken. Ground level. Goddard tried to worry Richards out of it. Stays over the top of the ball. Now being pressured by Gleeson. Eventually McCready gets it to Johnson. His kick's going to land out of bounds. On the full though. And a Footscray ball to be claimed by Taylor Duray. Inside defensive 50s Duray in the fluoro orange boots. Kicks back out towards centre wing. Coming across was Goddard with the big fist. It's killed off, and a boundary throw in to take place near the interchange bench for Footscray. Margins at 25 points. Dogs have led at every change. Umpire brings this in. Over the top of it was Silvani. Ball hacked forward. Is it deliberate? No. Boundary throw in. Don't think it was enough to warrant a free kick. So right half forward flank here for the Northern Blues. Desperately need the first goal of the final term. Nice tap down by Phillips. Jack Silvani not going anywhere though. It's a good tackle by Rourke Smith and it earns him a free kick. Not sure there was much prior opportunity there, Glenn Hill. I think we've lost Hilly for the time being. Just having his own conversation, I think, Michael. Anyway, we'll keep going. Not 15. That was an interesting call there from the umpire as Rourke Smith tried to get it to Duray. Ball's fisted. Hilly might get a touch here. Goes out of play. Boundary throw in. So, 25 points. That's the margin that the Northern Blues are dealing with. Can Footscray hold on and collect their 6th win of the year? Bouncing ball picked up by West. Finds an opening. Kicked a nice goal in the second. This might be another one. It's straight enough. Takes a bounce and goes all the way. 2 great goals today for Riley West and a very important one for Footscray. 11-18-84 playing 8-5-53. We played 4 minutes in the final term.
Doing just enough at the moment, the Bulldogs. They've been challenged, particularly in that third term, by the Northern Blues, but great finish by Riley West. Having a good first season on the Western Bulldogs list, averaging almost 17 disposals at VFL level. Picked 26 in last year's AFL draft. Looks to be a real bright prospect. And one for Western Bulldogs fans to get excited about for the future as we have the restart. Running onto it is Wallace. He's on top of it. Umpire crosses his arms. 5 minutes gone, final term. 31-point lead for Footscray as Fisher, well, his teammate just stumbled at the crucial moment and that allowed Karmas to take an uncontested mark. Kick towards forward 50. Almost cut off by Silvani and then he went in and laid a strong tackle. He's been one of their best today, Jack Silvani. Goes short for Phillips. And he has Johnson calling for it on the broadcast side and that's where he goes. Pops it over the top looking for O'Dwyer. But doing well to get a fist on it is Sweet over the boundary line. 11-18-84 plays 8-5-53. It's been a big day for the Bulldogs as McComb shovels it out to Smith and now going forward is Wallace. One-on-one forward to the ball. Strength from Gleeson and he can find a teammate in Shackey directly in front of goal.
Smart play from Gleeson there, just centering the ball to Shackey. Very good kick of the football. Josh Shackey should be able to slot this.
Has had a good day today, Josh Shackey. Hasn't been rewarded with a goal just yet. Has a couple of behinds. This, you'd expect, would be his first goal of the afternoon. directly in front. He makes no mistake. And that lead out to 37 points now for the Dogs. 12, 18, 90, plays 8-5, 53.
That was his 8th mark of the day for Josh Shackey. Has 15 disposals, 4 hit-outs and 1 goal too. He's had a great day. Probably one of the leading contenders for the post-game interview with Glenn Hill. Looks like the Dogs are on their way to win number 6.
And would that be the sealer, boys?
Yeah, well, what's the margin at the moment now? 37?
Yeah, we've hit that 6-goal mark.
Yeah, once you get past that 6-goal mark, I think you're probably in the box seat to collect the win. Fisher, Schumacher, out of the middle go the Blues. The kick out wide's good. Mark is taken. Inside 50 we go. Palmer, the man that sends it in there. Wanted for Solo. Gave away a free kick in the marking contest to be claimed by Roberts. In fact, it's going to be taken by Viojo Rainbow. Has to go short. Duray, again, not 15. Umpires have been hot on that today. Scott currently has it for Footscray. In fact, it's McComb. It's the low ball out toward the wing. Nice mark taken by Kavara. Sting is out of this one at the moment. Duray. Happy to chip in the back half at the moment are the Bulldogs. Taylor Duray. Kick was looking for Wallace, but it was cut off by Fasolo. Blues get it back. Inside 50, DeConing the target. No mark taken. Fletcher did jump in the contest. Good tackle, the boys. Ball's going to come out here. Karmas did well. Got the hair pass off, and now Smith takes a bounce. Runs out of D50. Had to get around one potential tackler. Kick for Trussler's good. But they're not ahead of centre wing just yet, the Bulldogs. Trussler. Hand pass to the man that gave it to him. Rourke Smith. Turns Garland inside out, handball off. Now it's in the hands of Wallace. Sun's shining all of a sudden over Icon Park, and Riley West in the same sort of region where he's kicked both of his previous goals today can have a shot for number 3. Hilly, have we got you at the moment?
Yes.
Bit of a disappointing crowd today.
Really disappointing, actually. I thought initially when I arrived that we were set for a nice sized crowd, but it didn't sort of filter on.
West looked like he was struggling for the distance, and as a result, it was a miscued kick. It does stay alive here in the goal square. A lot of players over the top of it. We'll see a ball up in the goal square here for Footscray. If the game's not already over, they can ice it for sure with another one here.
Well, no AFL to compete with in Melbourne at the moment. I would have thought we would have got a better crowd.
Off the ground, Sweet kicks a lovely goal. The sweet spot.
That is the sweet spot.
Wow. The big man provides a highlight. The margin is at a game high, 43 points. 13-18, 96 to 8-5, 53. Win number 6. He's coming up for Footscray today.
Josh Fraser would be really disappointed with the Blues here. They've dropped their bundle. Had an opportunity to do something in this last quarter and delivered an inspirational speech at three-quarter time and try and lift his troops to give an effort. And he did say, if you want to win this, I have the confidence that you will win this. But the want's not there from the Blues, these players. It's just not there, and they're getting killed at the fall of the ball. That's the main area that they're losing today, and the Dogs have really taken hold here.
Pick 23 in last year's rookie draft was Jordan Sweet, the 21-year-old ruckman, just lighting up a game that's lost all sting at the moment as Carlton hasn't, and the Northern Blues have another attack repelled, but Blakey doing the same thing for the Blues. Gives it off to Johnson on the broadcast side, inside 50. Good defensive mark taken by Lewis Young. A little bit worse for Ware. He's had a good second half, Lewis Young. Just set up the wall across half back, and he's turning back everything that comes his way. Kavara offers a short lead, elects to go further afield. Shacky and Sweet were the tall timber, couldn't take the mark. Ruben Williams being quiet in this second half, can make something happen here. Flicks it up beautifully to Trusler. Haven't called his name all that often. Inside forward 50s. Backing back with courage there was Scott. Ends up in the hands of Wallace. His snap! Was it touched? It was.
It's touched by Ruben Williams.
Caught in two minds there was William. He wasn't sure whether to let it go or to try and trap it to kick the goal himself. In the end, he did neither, and the result is a minor score. 44 points now, the Footscray lead.
He's certainly sailing through, so I'm not sure whether he just lost track of whether he was running through the goals or the behinds.
Ball's at half back as we see a kick from Kennedy, looking for Brazier, bounced in front of Fletcher Roberts. Needs some help. Will Hayes comes in to provide that. Tackles Zoe's.
Have we seen
boundary throwing?
Have we seen Kennedy's game today?
Haven't called his name a hell of a lot.
21 disposals.
He's had a lot of.
He's been workmanlike.
Yeah,
He's
a
had
lot
the
of
ball.
workmanlike touches. Some turnovers.
Coming off a big game last week with 30 disposals.
So we are on the outer wing. It's funny how often that happens as commentators. We tend to call the outside play a lot, and sometimes the inside stuff is the stuff we don't call as much of, and Kennedy's had that kind of day today, Michael.
He's been around the ball plenty, but I wouldn't say it's been his most damaging game.
So on the outside here is Fisher. Rushes one towards half forward. A couple of Blues are underneath it, as was Karmas for Footscray. Owies, hand pass out. Phillips does well. Garlett. Interrupted handball by Viojo Rainbow. Garlett goes in again. Karmas worried him out of it. Hayes gets the kick away. That's actually a nice mark taken by Sullivan. Right half back. Sun continues to shine in this final term. Goes wide for Riley West. Stings out of this one as West, left foot ball. Kick to a 2-on-1 a half forward. Blues do win it back. Lobe. Went to Ben Silvani, then a wayward handball. It's a turnover. Goddard tried to commit the professional foul, stays in. Now to kick for Gleeson. Finds William at the goal square. Runs around, kicks another one for the Dogs. Ruben William has 3 goals today. I think they've now turned up here. Footscray, they have 14, 19, 103. Margins exactly 50 points. Northern Blues, 8-5, 53.
And look, to be quite honest, they're lucky to be 50 points down. The Dogs have had 20 more scoring shots in this contest and probably should be another 4 or 5 goals in front. They've dominated the second and now the fourth quarters, and that's been the damaging part of this game.
Starting to get ugly now for the Northern Blues. As we spoke about in the pre-game, yet to beat a team in the top 8 this season, and that streak is going to continue this afternoon. And Footscray will be in the top 4 tonight. With a game in hand over much of their opposition, we must also acknowledge, as Kennedy gets the hands free, dishes it out to Lang, pulled off his kick, but Phillips able to retrieve it and give it to Silvani. His kick, a long one, and a consolation goal for the Northern Blues. Great finish by Jack Silvani. He's probably been their best this afternoon.
Yeah, he certainly has, and he's had some impact now forward of the centre square, and that's what we'd like to see from Silvani.
3 goals, 1 now for him to go along with 21 disposals and 11 tackles. He could be in line for an AFL recall as soon as next week.
If you're listening to us on SEN2, on air till 3:45 today. Next week on Hard Jacket, Totally Workwear VFL Live. We're going up the highway for the first time this season. It is GMHBA Stadium where Geelong will take on Frankston. Coverage to be kicking off from 1:45, 2 p.m. start. To that one, umpire puts it down, back in the middle. It's a wobbly bounce. Lang approaches, picks it up, hand pass for Solo, out wide, another touch for Kennedy, right foot ball, it's going to go all the way to the line, marked on the last line of defence by Lewis Young. Quickly gets things moving. Drummonds and Viojo Rainbow could have raffled it. Drummond took the mark, gave it to Viojo Rainbow. Now Sullivan gives off the handball. Smith showed some candy there to Jonathan O'Rourke. Gave it back to Sullivan. We're inside 50. Players looking into the sun. No mark was taken. Coming out of nowhere there was Trusler. Hand pass. Shaki. Standing start as easy as you like. They're running away with it now. Footscray. 15-19-109 playing 9-5-59. We're back to 50 points. 17 gone final term. And Shaki kicks his second of the game.
Yeah, he's had a good game, Adam, and as you said earlier, he's presented really well, and now he's just getting some reward on the scoreboard.
Absolutely, Hilly deserved a couple of goals for his efforts this afternoon, and he's gotten them in this final term. That's 5 goals, 1 now to Footscray in this quarter. The Northern Blues, just the 1 goal, 1. 17 and a half minutes gone. We're just playing out the string here at Icon Park. 50-point margin. Equal highest margin of the game. As Lang, on all fours, tried to get a handball away, but intercepted by Sweet. And inside forward 50, the Dogs go. Dispossessed, there was Sullivan, and now the ball worked out towards centre wing by the Blues. Palmer's been quiet today, gives it off to Silvani. Has a man at half forward and goes for him. It's Brazier. Does he keep it in? No, not quite. Boundary throw in 60 metres out from the Northern Blues goal. And we've got a blood rule.
It's like Jack Silvani coming off.
It is. His brother Ben wants to come off for a rest as well, so it's a double Silvani swap. Goddard and Fisher, the men making their way back onto the ground.
Around the grounds, it's a tight affair at Windsor Hill. 6-4-40, Essendon leading Box Hill 6-2-38. That's a half-time score.
50-point lead for Footscray here at Icon. Neither ruckman got a hand to it, that which allowed Kennedy to swoop. Gives it off to Palmer. Looking for Kerr in the pocket. Got one hand to it, but not two. And rushed behind, eventuates. Margin now out to 49 points.
Viojo Rainbow toward the broadcast side of the ground. Can't pick out Wallace. Bouncing ball picked up by Goddard. Could have placed away. Instead went the unselfish option. Mark is taken. And now it's in the hands of Alex Fasolo. So he'll be the man to have a shot on goal. It was Kerr, who's just hurt his shoulder a little bit. They decided not to have a shot from the pocket and give it to Fasolo instead. Has 5 goals to his name for the season in the VFL, and he's kicked number 6 here. His first of the day. And the Blues 10th, 10-6-66, playing 15-19-109 into time on of the final term.
Hilly, have we got you down there?
Got you, boys.
How have you viewed Alex Fasolo's first season as a Blue? Probably a little bit disappointing that he hasn't featured a little bit more at AFL level.
Yeah, certainly. Obviously had his dramas in the pre-season with the off-field incident that set him back. But yeah, he's been disappointing, unfortunately, for the Blues, a disappointing recruit. I'm sure he'd be doing everything in this back half of the season to try and resurrect, just resurrect some form and give himself some confidence if he's to go into next season.
We know what kind of impact he can have when he's up and going. Hasn't been their worst today, 15 disposals and now that goal. Just turned 27 last week as well, so still plenty of time to go in his career as that mark taken there for Footscray and kick out into the path of Drummond ends up over the boundary line. 15-19-109 plays 10-6-66. A 43-point margin for the Dogs. Into time on now, final term, 21 and a half minutes gone. Holding free going Footscray's way, and they take the advantage. A couple of bounces through the middle of Icon Park for Sullivan. Just pokes it to the pocket, looking for Trussler, the smallest man on the ground. Outpointed in the air by Blakey, and that ball, curious to say the least, out of bounds on the full. Not too sure what Goddard was doing on that occasion. It's going to be Rourke Smith's ball at left half forward. Has Duray presenting inboard, instead goes backwards for Lockie Young. He pokes it inboard. Heard the call from the umpire, had to play on. Long ball into the pocket. Big pack around it, out of bounds it goes. 22 minutes gone now, final term. Footscray will be in the top 4 tonight. So they will move to 6-3, while the 6-2-1, I should say, while the Northern Blues will be 5-4. As we have a holding the ball free kick here. Fisher didn't get rid of it, and now a chance for Kavara to put through his second of the afternoon.
Williamstown tomorrow and Essendon today both get up. That'll knock Footscray back into 5th place where they currently are. Hilly?
Just the fans just asking Ben Kavara to hurry up here. I think they just want to go home, to be quite honest, if they're Northern Blues fans.
It's been a tough day for the Northern Blues. Kavara kicks from 47, looks pretty good off the boot, and it's through for another one. He's second, and the Bulldogs move to 16-19, 1-15. They've almost evened up that goal behind ledger. Margin out to 49 points. The Northern Blues 10-6-66.
Yeah, never looked in doubt off the boot. Again, just getting some confidence in his first game back, Ben Kavara, and he'll look to build on that in the coming weeks.
Yeah, that's right, Hilly. First game since round 5. Actually made his debut for Footscray in the VFL against Williamstown in round 4. We know he had some good years for the Seagulls. Third game of the season. Hopefully he's able to string together a few more games and perhaps even make an AFL debut later on in the season.
Bulldogs back at VU Whitten Oval on Sunday morning next week against Collingwood. Northern Blues have a week off before they host Geelong here at Icon Park in round 13. Back live. Phillips gets his kick towards half forward. This is Garlett. Gets his hand pass off. Missed the target though in Jack Silvani. Sullivan fumbled. Silvani goes back in. Nice little gather of the ball. Now it's Brazier. Interesting handballing board for Silvani. Had to fight for it in the end, and the Bulldogs pounced on him. One of the tacklers is Duray. We've got a ball up. As the ball is tracked over the line after the ball up for a boundary throw in. Sting's been out of this one for a while now. Good win coming up for the Dogs. Margin as we speak, 49 points. Umpire brings it back into play. Lobe tapped over his head. O'Rourke tried to help it on its way through to Lang. Eventually, Lang is kicked in and go far, partially smothered off the boot of Jack Silvani. Fisher got a look at the sticks. Duray, though, got the smother. Pruden left it for a teammate. Eventually cleared away by Viojo Rainbow. It's on centre wing, near side of the ground. No mark taken. Hayes does well. Sullivan on the way through. Now it's inside 50 off the boot of Drummond. Scott tracking back. Takes a great mark against Mason Blakey. Directly in front. Can kick another one for the Dogs. Almost 26 gone now in the final term. I don't think there's time left, but they kick 3 more straight goals. They'll actually end up level in terms of goals and behinds. After kicking 12 behinds in the second term, he kicks the goal. So 17-19, 121. Playing 10-6, 66, and now just 2 goals away from going level on the goal behind ratio for the day. In the second term, they kicked 4 goals, 12, the Bulldogs.
And they've kicked 10 goals, 2 in the second half. So a lot more accurate over the last quarter and almost 2 quarters. They've been able to rectify what was their biggest weakness in the first half. And now the scoreboard really reflecting a 36-16 scoring shot advantage for the Bulldogs. Margin out to 55 points. Overrunning it was McComb. And they'll go forward once again. Will the Dogs. Intercept mark dropped by Goddard. All Footscray at ground level. Smith able to gather left half forward. Thought about taking on the big ruckman and Phillips. Instead, just pokes it into the centre square for McComb. That kick, an absolute beauty for Richards. He takes the mark inside forward 50. Too far out for him. And he pokes it out wide to Pruden, the skipper. Kicked a goal in the first term, did Josh Pruden. That was his first one for the season. 0 goals, 3 coming into this game. He'd love to put through another one. Doesn't get to kick too many, does Pruden. Comes in, across the face of goal, out of bounds on the full. Ben Silvani to take the free.
He'll kick towards centre wing. Jack Silvani flew from the back. Lobe was the main target of the kick. It's on ground level and not coming out. Niku Kalnis was one of the tacklers there for Footscray.
How many touches for Rourke Smith today has been really important.
We'll get Michael to track that one down as play restarts. It's hacked out of the pack by Kennedy. It's done well in and under today. Silvani wrapped up by Smith for Solo. His kick was smothered off the boot and ricocheted out of play.
14 touches for Rourke Smith today, Hilly.
It's been really nice with his evasive work, especially here on the wing, and propelling the Bulldogs forward today.
Ball thrown back into play. Final siren not too far away. There's a push here. It's going to favour Footscray. Josh Wallace to claim the free kick for the Dogs. His kick towards half forward. Mark taken by Anthony Scott. Wanted a push. Doesn't get it. So we'll throw in that left half forward here for Footscray. As Glenn Hill starts thinking about who he's going to target once the final siren goes. Kennedy brought to ground. Lang with the good tackle. Rourke Smith with another good tackle. I think everyone at Icon Park is just waiting for the final siren now. Footscray will be in the top 4 after this result. Williamstown, of course, could knock him out. Essendon also in the top 4. They're trailing by 5 points against Box Hill as we speak at Windy Hill. Wallace brought down straight away. High, according to the umpire, was the tackle.
Looks like Kennedy's just suffering from a little bit of cramp in his left hamstring. So I wouldn't be surprised if he turns around and comes off here shortly. Not much time on the clock. You don't want to risk an injury.
Beaming sunshine, blue skies all of a sudden, Glen Hill.
It's a good sign. Got the rest of the day to get out and do something while the sun's out.
Take the dog for a walk. Plenty of options as well. Wallace didn't want to have a shot in the end, so he goes poking it toward the top of the square. Hand pass was wayward for Smith. Kerr. Wallace claims it back for Footscray. There's no room at all at the moment. Scott went back by hand for Solo. Claims it for the Northern Blues. Kick goes toward the wing. 3-on-1 here for the Dogs. It's fisted down toward Viojo Rainbow. Picked up by Fletcher Roberts. Is that going to stay in play? No, out of bounds on the full. And the Blues will get a free kick. Beyond the 30-minute mark of the final term now, it is the Northern Blues Footscray leading by 55 points.
They are the second best defensive team in the VFL in season 2019. The Bulldogs conceding only about 61.5 points per game. They've held the Northern Blues to 66 this afternoon as some of the Blues defenders just rack up some stats. Eventually Silvani clears defensive 50, going for his brother Jack. He can handball over the top to Fasolo, and now Garlett in some space at right half forward. Spots a man over the top. It's Lobe. And he takes the mark, probably too far out to score. Kerr half-heartedly leads to the pocket. He just pokes it up to the hot spot and finds his lookalike Phillips. No, not quite. Slipped through his fingertips. And through it goes for a minor score. So that lead now back to 54 points and even 9 goals as Richards to take the kick in. Really liked his game, particularly in the first half. Just sends it long and wide. O'Dwyer off hands. And now Goddard can pump the Blues inside 50 again. But there is the siren. We were really playing out the string for the last quarter or so in this contest. And it's Footscray running away with a 54-point victory. 17-19, 121 to 10-7-67. The Dogs will be in the 4 tonight.
The old-fashioned Footscray song. Haven't heard that at the top level since 1996. 3 goals in the end for Ruben William. 2 each to Ben Cavara, Josh Hackey, Anthony Scott, Jordan Sweet. One of them was an absolute ripper in the final term. He socketed it out of a ruck contest in the goal square and it went through. And 2 for Riley West. Both those goals were quite impressive, as well as Glenn Hill just roams around a majority of the players looking for an interview. We will go down to Glenn Hill as soon as he can pluck one of the Footscray players.
Yep.
Looks like he might be targeting Ed Richards. Hilly, take it away if you've got him.
Thanks, boys. Joined by Ed Richards. And, mate, it was a really good contest early, and then you guys sort of grabbed hold of it in the second quarter and went from there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great contest in that first half. We would have liked to probably convert a bit more of our opportunities. I think 7-17 is what we really wanted to go in at half-time with, but I think the boys really stuck at it and we ended up turning around in the last half, which was great.
Your defensive unit worked really well and obviously kept the Blues to a low score, and that's been something that's sort of propelled the VFL team forward this year.
Yeah, I think we pride ourselves on trying to get forward off turnovers and try to keep the ball in our front half so we can have more energy to attack and score goals. So I think we did a really good job of that today, especially in that second and last quarter.
And you certainly peppered away at the scoreboard. It was that first half was an amazing amount of shots at goal, and finally the reward came and you're able to put some space on the Blues.
Yeah, it was good to finally get a couple of goals on the board after kicking so many points. So yeah, it was a really good effort by the footy boys, and really stoked.
Also, too, just personally, your individual form was really good again today, and you'll be looking hopefully to get another opportunity back up at AFL level.
Yeah, I think that's probably the goal of mine, coming down here and playing with the Scray. But I mean, we've got such a good young team here down at Footscray, and it's really good to see that we're pushing for a really good spot on the ladder, which is also amazing that we'll be able to maybe play finals at the end of the year.
Fantastic stuff, Ed. Thanks for joining us on VFL Live. Well done again on a great team performance and individually today. Go and enjoy the win with your teammates.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Thank you to Ed Richards and to Glenn Hill, boundary side as well. Interesting, iced up to end the game is Lockie Young. Right ankle, it looks like, has been iced up. So maybe a slight injury concern. There wasn't too much injury-wise to come out of the game today. Ed Richards today, by the way, his numbers 15 disposals, 6 marks and 8 tackles for Ed Richards today. Just looking at how much time we have got left as the boys from Footscray do make their way off the ground. Now we might have room to attempt to try and get the song, Hilly, if we can, but we'll see how we go there as Footscray do make their way off the ground now. Michael Peppercelli, a couple of the individual stat getters that we have got for this one today. It was Well, it's a famous number for Footscray, a 54-point win over the Northern Blues.
It certainly is, Adam, and a man we spoke about in that final term actually led the disposal count. It was Matt Kennedy, the leading disposal winner on the ground. Lots of his work done in the inside, of course, as we know. He had 29 disposals over Darcy Lang and Jack Silvani, who had 26 apiece. Interesting, the top 3 disposal winners on the ground, all Northern Blues players. And for Footscray, Taylor Duray led the way with 24, his first VFL game. Since the elimination final last year for Box Hill, had to overcome a hip injury to be out there today and had himself a good game. Anthony Scott had 22 and Josh Wallace had 20 to round out the top 3 for the Bulldogs.
So we will try and get the song on air for another 3 or 4 minutes here on Hard Jacker Totally Workwear. VFL Live, a 54-point win in the end for Footscray today. The goal kickers for the Northern Blues, Matt Owies, ended up with 4, 3 to Jack Silvani, then singles for Alex Fasolo, Matt Lobe and Finbar O'Dwyer. It was a fairly disappointing day in the end for the Northern Blues. They slip to 5-4 on their season. There is one other game taking place around the grounds in the Hard Jacket Totally Workwear VFL, halfway into the third term, and it's been a close one all day, an arm wrestle between the Bombers and the Hawks. It's Essendon 7-7-49, leading Box Hill 7-3-45. Let's take a look at the live ladder. Footscray is currently third as we speak at 6-2 and 1. Of course, that draw against Box Hill earlier in the season. The Northern Blues just teetering on the edge of the top 8 as we speak. They are 8th as we speak. The Northern Blues at 5-4. That's where we're at the moment. We're just about ready to slowly wrap this one up. Don't think we're going to get the song in the end. Healy, if we still have you, thank you for your contributions today. We'll see you in a couple of weeks at Trevor Barker Beach Oval. Next week, GMHBA Stadium, the Cats will be taking on Frankston right here on Hard Jacker Totally Workwear VFL Live. Well called today, Michael Peppercelli.
Thanks, Adam. Looking forward to going down the highway next week. I'll see you then.
Thank you, everyone. 17-19, 121. Footscray win by 54 points over the Northern Blues. 10-7, 67.